$225 he's looking for.
The amount has been reduced to $200 because LSA estimates it'll be between 300 to 900,000 extra people that could collect the automatic taxpayer refund.
It also has a freeze on the gas tax and utility sales taxes. Several charges against the Bartholomew County prosecutor. William Nash is accused of threatening to kill his neighbor because of a dispute over his neighbor's dogs. He's also being charged with obstruction in the case. A special prosecutor is trying the case, and a judge in Jennings County is presiding over it. Visitation for Elwood police officer Noah Chavez is today. Chavez was shot and killed last weekend during a traffic stop. Services will be held at the I-Town Church in Fishers with visitation from 2 to 7 p.m. His funeral is Saturday with a procession planned to Crown Hill Cemetery where he'll be buried. 4 years after a referendum in Noblesville allowed police there to staff resource officers at every school building, the school district says it's paying off.
The main reason that I think everybody wants us in the building is to stop that bad thing from happening in our building.
Sergeant Andrew Rise with Noblesville PD tells Wish TV that the program has also helped them better engage with students and parents. Traffic on the 5s, Matt Bear.
All right, Kurt, inbound 69, crash on the shoulder at 82nd Street. Stop and go traffic back to 96 and still working with the crash in the westbound lanes of 465. Before Allisonville Road, right shoulder blocked, slow to 69. Traffic sponsored by Comcast Business. Whether your business is starting or growing, you need Comcast Business, the network that powers more businesses than any other provider. Comcast Business, powering possibilities. I'm Matt Bear with Traffic on the 5s. Follow us on Twitter at WIBC Traffic.
A $2,000 energy-saving credit plus sale prices on energy-efficient view windows, siding, and doors. Up to $2,000 energy credit and no payments, no interest for up to 22 months.
Those who've built their own financial success know that moving forward requires not just the right tools, but an in-depth knowledge of how to use them. That's why Edelman Financial Engines gives you a dedicated wealth planner supported by a team of experts. We know a modern wealth planning relationship demands human insight powered by advanced technology. Our advice is tailor-made for your personal goals, and our investment management approach is based on Nobel Prize-winning research. We model more than 38,000 securities, so we can better stress test your portfolio through thousands of scenarios. See what we can build for you. Call 888-899-4450. That's 888-899-4450. Or visit efewealthplanners.com to get your complimentary financial plan. Edelman Financial Engines. Built for those who built themselves.
The forecast from the American Standard Cooling Weather Center.
Partly to mostly cloudy skies, a scattered shower or thunderstorm possible this afternoon. It is going to be warm and humid with highs near 84. An isolated early evening shower, otherwise mild and muggy tonight with lows near 71. I'm Wish TV storm tracking meteorologist Tara Hastings for 93 WIBC.
74 and mostly cloudy downtown. I'm Kirk Darling on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
You're listening to Rob Kendall.
The Republican Party in Indiana sees zero problem in record spending, in record taxation.
And Casey Daniels.
You went out there and said, please vote for me. You debated other people on why you're the better person for the position. Suck it up.
This is the Kendall and Casey Show on 93 WIBC.
Good morning. It is Friday, August 5th. Congratulations. You made it to Friday. Give yourself a big old pat on the back. Things that are trending this hour. Calvin Harris. He has a new album dropping today. It's called Funk Wave Bounces Volume 2. The album features collaborations with Dua Lipa, Charlie Puth, Justin Timberlake, Halsey, Pharrell, and Snoop Dogg. Also trending, China. They've announced sanctions against Nancy Pelosi following her Taiwan visit. And lastly, trending this hour, iRobot. Amazon is buying the Roomba maker for $1.7 billion, including all of their debt. Good morning. It is 7 minutes after 9 with Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC. And the House and Senate reached a deal for distributing more than $1 billion in surplus accounts. The deal was part of an amendment that was approved yesterday in Senate Bill 2. You want $1,500? pound sand. You want $225? Nope, not getting that either. Rob, how much are we getting?
So as of yesterday, this blows my mind. So when our favorite snowman, the greatest snowman in all of the Indiana General Assembly, Rod Bray, came out and announced this plan to give you $0 of your money back, and in exchange he would suspend the utility tax for a very brief amount of time. I thought there is no way possible that anybody could come up with a worse idea in terms of helping regular people in the state of Indiana than what Rod Bray had presented. And yesterday the Indiana House of Representatives said, "Well, hang on there. Hold our beer." And so now what we have, at least as of right now, and as they always say in professional wrestling, cards subject to change, at least according to our friends over at the Indiana Capital Chronicle, $200. Now, the original House bill said $225. Now that has been reduced to $200. So what our Indiana House and Senate apparently think collectively is that despite the fact that they're sitting on $1,500 of your money, which is what we're talking about here, more than $6 billion surplus, which is overtaxation. And overtaxation is money that is not needed to fund the government, despite the government had a record budget the last time with record taxation. They said, no. We can't stand the idea of you having your own money back. So the $1,500 we have taken with seemingly no use to fund the daily operations of the government, we're going to give you 200 of that back now. And by the way, a billion of that money now going to pay down teacher pension debt. So government got $1 billion. You got 200. I'm sorry. It's been such a moving target. You now get $200 of your own money back.
And no utility tax break either.
Yes.
Representative Tim Brown said the decrease from the proposed $225 to $200 is because of the anticipated $300,000 to $900,000 additional Hoosiers on Social Security and disability benefits who will now qualify for these payments.
So anticipated. So they don't have a number, Casey, because 300,000 to 900,000 seems like a very wide margin of people in a state of 7-ish million. Like if you were to say 300 to 900,000 people in the entire world, with which there's whatever 8 billion people or whatever the number is now, you would say, okay, that's a pretty good rounding error. But in a state of just over 7 million, 300,000 to 900,000 seems like a pretty broad spectrum. And well, not to question the accountability of Indiana state government, but based on how they've maneuvered and manipulated and grown without accountability, the HIP insurance program, in which able-bodied people left and right are getting insurance in this state who could otherwise work to afford insurance or otherwise have monies to buy insurance, are still getting insurance funded by the taxpayers at a cost of just $5 to $10 a month for them. I'm raising a red flag here that a bunch of people who probably shouldn't be getting the refund will end up getting the refund. And it makes sense that Tim Brown would say, well, maybe it'll be 300,000, maybe it'll be 900,000, because Tim Brown is the head of Ways and Means, who has been in the Indiana General Assembly since the earth was young. But yet on his own campaign account, there was $30,000 he couldn't account for. Filed a faulty report, just goes, well, I didn't know what else to do. So Tim Brown seems like the perfect person to have no idea whether it's 300,000 or 900,000 people. Casey, you could not make the idiots up that run this state. You could not make them up if you tried.
Well, it was Amendment Day at the House, and the Republicans attempted to remove exceptions for rape and incest from the state's proposed near total abortion ban. But just like the Republicans in the Senate, they were unsuccessful with that. The vote failed 39 to 61, with all Democrats and some Republicans voting no.
Okay, so I believe there are 21. Abdul and I were talking about this before the show. And if this is incorrect, you can blame it on Abdul, angry establishment person who's mad. But I think this is right. I think there are 21 Democrats in the House. I think that's right. And in the House, you have to get 51 votes. Abdul said there is no tiebreaker. In the Senate, the lieutenant governor is the tiebreaker In the House, there is no equivalent of if it's 50-50 in the Senate, the lieutenant governor comes over like the vice president, breaks the tie. So you have to get 51 votes to pass something in the Senate or in the House. So today, if indeed these 39 people who voted to protect life, because as of right now, the Indiana House, just like the Indiana Senate, is the party of life as long as your life is conceived in the circumstances we approve of. Now, if you're conceived in a circumstance we don't approve of, well, then somebody can still suck the brains out of a defenseless fetus up to 9 weeks and 6 days, no problem. 10 weeks, well, now we got a real problem on our hands. Of course, there's still no criminal component in this, so I don't know what the problem would be. Oh, well, the medical licensing board could take away your license. Yeah, okay, sure. As someone who worked for the professional licensing agency, if you are counting on any sort of licensing agency or board to be the enforcement mechanism, good luck with all that. My point on all of this is 39 Republicans said we value all life, even that which is conceived in the worst possible circumstance. They have the ability, just like the Senate did last week, to flex their muscle and kill this bill. Because if they join with the Democrats, you will have more, the 39 and 21. I'm a product of the public education system, but that's 60. 60 is more than the 51 needed. So the conservative pro-life movement in the House has the ability today to flex their muscle, to tell the Flanders boys, Rod Bray and Todd Houston, you aren't in charge here, we are in charge here, and kill this bill. Now, just like the Senate, I'm sure they'll get on bended knee and acquiesce to the establishment / party leadership, because most of these people are giganto cowards, and this will move forward. But they have the ability to be pro-life if indeed they decide to do that. I don't think they will.
The House is poised to vote on this bill today.
Yes.
And if it passes the House, the Senate will have to vote on whether to approve the changes that the House made. And then if the chamber approves the changes, it's going to go to Holcomb's desk.
So let's keep in mind, so just so people realize, there still is no enforcement mechanism in here in terms of a criminal component. So this will be like the only law known to man where there is a crime without a criminal component to it. And they stripped away the attorney general's ability to prosecute cases where rogue, lunatic leftist prosecutors like Ryan Mears, who lust apparently to suck brains out of defenseless fetuses, choose not to prosecute the case. This is pro-life? I mean, you have to make this choice in listener land when you go vote. These people have told you they're pro-life. Does that sound like a pro-life bill in which there is no criminal, there is no punishment for committing, I guess, the crime, and then there's no way to enforce someone be prosecuted if they commit a crime? You have to decide whether that's pro-life or not. Doesn't sound very pro-life to me. I guess reasonable people can disagree.
So they're saying this is against the law. Just don't do it. We're not going to do anything to you, but just don't do it. They have until the end of the session to hammer this out, which is August 15th. It's Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC. And up next, we're going to discuss the Indy Chamber.
Your Echo smart speaker has just gotten smarter. Ask Alexa to activate your WIBC News Flash Briefing skill.
Alexa, what's in the news?
Here's your flash briefing. From the WIBC mobile newsroom, this is local news for Indianapolis.
Gas Buddy says the statewide average.
Get the latest news updates on demand.
I'm John Herrick.
The administration should be going
beyond 93
Chris Davis, 93 WIBC mobile news.
When you want your news in a flash, get it with no waiting with Alexa at 93 WIBC.
Inspired by your nerves of steel and the nerves and joints that help our bodies go. Inspired by longer walks and breakthrough joint replacements that keep you in step. We're inspired to deliver the best in orthopedic care because at Franciscan Health, we're inspired by you. To learn more, visit franciscanhealth.org/orthocare. Franciscan Health, inspiring health.
At Diamonds Direct, you know what we do. But let's be honest, there are a lot of places you can buy diamonds and fine jewelry. But it's not just our products and prices that set us apart. It's our passion. At the very core of Diamonds Direct is an overwhelming desire to make this moment in your life truly magical. It's that father with the tears in his eyes picking out diamond earrings for his daughter's sweet 16. It's that pure delight when the young couple finds the perfect ring to start their journey. And it's the feeling of pride the older gentleman feels when he chooses that anniversary band that celebrates a lifetime of love. At Diamonds Direct, it's not about a transaction, it's about a relationship. It's not about making a sale, it's about creating a memory. It's not about the ring, it's about his pride and her joy. This is our purpose, our cause, our mission, our very essence, to help you create your special moment, to be a part of the happiest time in your life. We are humbled and blessed, honored, and privileged to have the opportunity. Diamonds Direct, your love, our passion.
Hello, I'm Joe Cordell of the domestic litigation firm Cordell & Cordell. Here are a few quick divorce tips that we provide our clients. Number 1, don't move out of your house just because your wife tells you to. Remember, that's your house too. And number 2, don't blow through the financial statements that you file with the court. These are key exhibits and they often make or break your case. And number 3, watch the social networking. Expect your wife's lawyer to do a thorough online search. And incidentally, this is a two-way street. Now, a bonus tip. Partner with your attorney in assembling evidence. You're one of the 2 leading experts on your life and marriage. Your attorney needs your input to achieve your goals. And finally, talk to your attorney before taking action. Good luck.
Contact the domestic litigation firm of Cordell & Cordell to schedule an appointment with one of our firm's Indianapolis area attorneys, a partner men can count on. Online at CordellCordell.com. That's CordellCordell.com. Cordell & Cordell, 101 West Ohio Street, Suite 1100, Indianapolis, Indiana, 46204.
Every search you make, every click you take, they'll be watching you.
Are you tired of being tracked online? There's a simple solution. DuckDuckGo. It's an all-in-one privacy app with a built-in private search engine, web browser, one-click data clearing, email protection, and more, all for free. Download the app today and get the most comprehensive privacy protection with the push of a button. DuckDuckGo. Privacy simplified.
From the very beginning, and every workday since, at every shift, and every individual effort, we carry a common purpose, a common cause. It's a duty we proudly honor, knowing behind every product we build is your faith in us, dedicated to the craft of gun making, dedicated to your freedom, the quality, security, and the promise of this great country. Smith & Wesson, empowering Americans. Learn more at smith-wesson.com.
Trust 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning to help keep your AC running strong. Call 855-1-HOUR or visit onehourair.com.
Always on time or you don't pay time.
Independently owned and operated, licensed in their respective state or county.
You're listening to Rob Kendall.
He's out of control.
And Casey Daniels.
Isn't she the best?
On 93 WIBC.
The Chamber of Commerce for Indianapolis is asking lawmakers to move away from the proposed bill banning abortion. This is the state's largest regional business chamber, and they've chastised the state legislature for moving on this measure that would ban abortion, and they said they urged the legislature not to proceed with Senate Bill 1.
You know, Casey, for those of you watching us in the YouTube, hello, good to see you. Just put Kendall and Casey, WIBC, into your YouTube. What is it called? Is it a browser? Is that what it is? Somebody got me yesterday.
Search bar?
Search bar. Perfect. Somebody got me yesterday for calling it a browser. And so in your search bar, and you can watch the show while you're there, please hit the like button.
And subscribe.
If you're watching us on the YouTube chat, you can see I'm wearing this, it's a gray shirt with some blue stripes across the front.
New shirt. It looks nice.
Well, I found it in my chest where I keep my clothes. You know, I said I don't know if I've ever worn this shirt. And so that means it has probably been sitting in my chest for several years now.
It finally got picked. It's very happy.
And despite the fact that this shirt has been sitting in this chest, getting no use for what must be 3 years on, I don't know. The fact that I'm wearing it today still makes it more useful than the entire Indy Chamber as a collective organization. And, you know, I'd been wondering, Casey, because, you know, the Indy Chamber, along with the Indiana Chamber of Commerce, all often acts as the adult supervision for both Lockdown McGee, Governor Eric Holcomb, and the Indiana General Assembly. And I was wondering, because anything that remotely represents protecting life, liberty, or the pursuit of happiness, I knew that would enrage both the Indy Chamber and likely the Indiana Chamber. And so I've been wondering where the adult supervision was. I mean, was this like a thing where they let the kids play for a week and now they've decided to, mom and dad have to step in because we're getting close to passing some form of protecting life, even if it's not what the pro-life movement wants. I mean, we are moving towards protecting life. And on cue, the Indy Chamber has come out and let the Indiana General Assembly know that they're very, very, very unhappy. So I anticipate the governor currently getting a very stern talking to by mom and dad because he will ultimately have control over whether this bill gets signed into law. The only organization that I care less about what they think on abortion than Gen Con is the Indy Chamber.
The Indy Chamber said they asked the General Assembly instead to take time to listen to the public, consult with physicians and healthcare providers, and work to address the unanswered questions. They went on to say that rushing to advance state policy on broad, complex issues is at best detrimental to Hoosiers and at worst reckless.
You know, this is what blows my mind. And I was talking with I can say his name because, you know, he said it on air here before too. Micah and I were talking the other day, and Micah Beckwith. And he makes such a great point about these Republicans who are so worried about, well, the public sentiment is, and, you know, all these people show up at the State House and, you know, this and that, we're worried about this or that. And you got to bring your people down because they brought their people down. We did bring our people down on election day. Election after election after election after election, people have voted for Republicans in this state. And while the Republican Party is proving that they're only pro-life in certain circumstances, if you're conceived in a circumstance that fits the narrative that we like, your message has been that you're pro-life. If people were offended about you promoting and protecting life, they wouldn't have voted for you. And yet all these Republicans, whatever it is, 110 of them, I think, in between the House and Senate, apparently need a hug and to be told it's going to be okay, and it's okay to not to say that it's not all right to suck the brains out of a defenseless fetus. And they're still apparently very intimidated by all of these lunatic protesters who will never vote for you anyway, who didn't vote for you the last time, who wouldn't matter if you voted for abortion from conception to live birth aren't going to vote for you. And yet all of these grown-ass men and women apparently need hugs and to be told it's going to be okay.
It's Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC, and police yesterday said evidence from the crash that killed Representative Jackie Walorski revealed that the SUV she was in crossed the center line moments before the head-on crash. Everyone inside both vehicles were wearing seatbelts and all of the airbags deployed. And I did a little research on collisions of this nature.
Yeah.
Head-on collisions between two motor vehicles have risen over the past decade and now account for 10% of fatal crashes, and that's according to the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration. So far this year, there have been 774 fatal crashes in Indiana.
So obviously the horrific nature of the accident doesn't change regardless of who, you know, was at fault. 4 people have died, and that's horrific. However, I was telling somebody this yesterday. I feel really bad for the victim that was not, I mean, I obviously feel bad for all the victims, but I feel really bad for the family of the victim who was not in the car with the congresswoman and the staff, because the initial reporting was, oh, this person crossed a center line, and then it's not, oh, you killed someone, but it's, oh my gosh, this person caused the deaths of these people. And so for an entire day, this family is living with this guilt, like, oh my gosh, not only is our family member gone, but 3 people died because this person made a mistake, and now it turns out this person is gone because someone else made a mistake. And so I just felt really, really bad for that family, because to have, and that's why you got these government agencies, right? I mean, it was the same thing with the shooter in Greenwood when they had to come out and talk about the chief of police there had to make a correction on what happened with the Good Samaritan who saved, countless lives in Greenwood. It's like, how do these government agencies keep getting these things wrong? And if you're not sure on something, it's pretty easy. You know, if you're not sure, why are you reporting anything? Because all it is creating confusion and sadness. And the government really has government has an onus to get things right. Total little joke. But really, I mean, especially something that involves life or death, you have an absolute responsibility to make sure you get that right before you put that information out there.
There was a vigil held last night at Jimtown High School at 8 o'clock for Jackie Walorski. Jimtown High School, their mascot, the Jimtown Jimmies. It's Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC. And up next, we're going to hear from the FBI director.
Tony Katz for Moss Roofing, MOSS, mossroofing.com, the family-owned business in its second generation of taking care of the roofs of Indianapolis and all over central Indiana. They do full roof replacements, residential or commercial. You've got storm damage, you talk to Moss Roofing. And their financing, they've got a plan that works for everybody's budget. So yes, now is the time to get that roof taken care of. And if you need siding, they work with James Hardy Siding. We're talking about the low maintenance, fully painted, 15-year warranty on the finish, James Hardy Siding. When you go to sell your home, your house is going to be worth more money because you will have increased the value with James Hardy Siding. And it holds up better in the Indianapolis weather. Talk to the family at Moss Roofing today. 317-784-3227. Tell them Tony Katz sent you. 784-3227. 784-3227 or online at Moss, MOSS, mossroofing.com.
Old National Wealth Management is asking investors to get old. But first, people have questions.
Now, if I get old, will someone explain how bond prices and yields go in opposite directions?
Yes, your own wealth advisor's there to make everything clear.
No matter how many times I ask.
Absolutely.
Because I kind of ask a lot. I ask about 401ks, too.
We love questions.
Okay, put me in the old machine. I'm ready.
Introducing Old National Bank, where business relationships and results matter. Old National Bank. Get old. Member FDIC.
Now with Xfinity, you'll get unlimited internet with gig speed and supersonic Wi-Fi. With a 2-year internet rate guarantee, no annual contract required, and no equipment fees. Talk about knock your socks off. Ooh, plus a free Flex 4K streaming box. It's like hitting the streaming jackpot. It's all just $50 a month when you add Xfinity Mobile. $50 a month. A price that's truly jaw-dropping.
Oh, literally.
The speed you need at a price you want. Value that's simply bananas. That's the new Xfinity Supersonic Bundle. It's kind of a big deal. Go to Xfinity.com/gig, call 1-800-XFINITY, or visit a store to learn more.
Limited time offer. Restrictions apply. Requires paperless billing and auto pay with stored bank account. New gigabit internet customers only. Xfinity Mobile requires post-pay Xfinity Internet. After 24 months, regular rates apply to all services and devices.
As a parent, you want the best education for your child. Choose Marian University Preparatory School for this school year. Their faith-based online private school is currently enrolling students in grades 6 through 9. Your child will benefit from their personalized college prep curriculum and supportive community. Financial aid is available through the Indiana Choice Scholarship. To learn more about the unique educational experience of Marian University Preparatory School, visit k12.com/Marian. That's k12.com/MARIAN.
Who appreciates the value of an Ivy Tech Community College Associate degree? Well, the state's largest colleges for starters. Over 20 have partnered with us in our Guaranteed Admissions Program, where an Ivy Tech Associate degree guarantees admission to their bachelor's degree program. Who else? The 70,000 plus high school students each year who earn college credit in high school and save on tuition by doing it. But as valuable as an Ivy Tech degree is, the real value lies in the better life it makes possible. Let's get started today at ivytech.edu.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
The tensions are high. Mostly cloudy, 75 downtown. I'm Kurt Darling. Here's what's trending at 9:32. China still conducting military drills dangerously close to Taiwan. This in response to a visit to the island nation by House Speaker Nancy Pelosi. Several missiles fired in the last 2 days, some directly over Taiwan.
The United States will not be provoked. We'll continue to do what we've done for a long time.
will support cross-strait peace and stability and a free and open Indo-Pacific.
Secretary of State Antony Blinken, China has levied sanctions on Pelosi because of the visit. They are also cutting off dialogue with the U.S. on climate and economic concerns. The U.S. says it will pursue Russia's offer to discuss a prisoner swap for WNBA star Brittany Griner, the White House making that vow this morning at a foreign ministers meeting in Cambodia after Russia's foreign minister said earlier in the day that they were ready to discuss a prisoner swap. Griner was sentenced to 9 years in a Russian prison Thursday for having a small amount of cannabis oil in her luggage at a Moscow airport. And now the stock report. We are in the red big time to start the day. The Dow was down 220 to 32,461. The Nasdaq down 206 to 13,120. And the S&P 500 is down 43 to 4,108. I'm Kirk Darling on The Level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
Joint pain is a pain, but you don't have to suffer from it. Whether it's arthritis or an injury, you know the traditional treatments you go through, pain meds and steroids, and then surgery, right? It's Tony Katz here. There is great news. A better way right here in Indianapolis from the local medical professionals at QC Kinetics. QC Kinetics is the nation's leader in regenerative medicine, and they have offices in Eagle Creek and Greenwood. QC Kinetics is an advanced natural alternative that can give you lasting relief using your body's own healing power. Listen, steroid shots are toxic to your joints. Pain meds are addictive, and nobody wants to go under the knife. It's 2022, and those old ways are out. The new ways are here in Indy. Regenerative medicine can restore and repair damaged joint tissue using natural biologics. No drugs, no downtime, no surgery. QC Kinetics regenerative protocols can address any pain in any joint and give you quality of life you deserve. Call now. Schedule your free consultation. QC Kinetics, 463-235-7160. In Eagle Creek and Greenwood, that's 463-235-7160.
When the weather turns severe, turn to the WIBC Storm Desk, presented by Technology Recyclers. Securely destroy electronic data. Visit tech-recyclers.com. You're listening to the Kendall and Casey Show on 93 WIBC.
The FBI director had a big day at the Senate Judiciary Committee hearing, and we'll get to that in just a minute. Thank you for watching on the YouTube channel. If you're joining us there, you can just type in Kendall and Casey WIBC in the YouTube search bar.
Hey, speaking of the YouTube, there's a chat section there, and I don't participate in the chat. That is your job, and I don't participate for obvious reasons. Rob, you can't be calling the listeners a-holes. But I do read from time to time the things that are going on, and we appreciate and care about all you people, and appreciate even those of you who listen out of hate. I think, Casey, those who listen out of hate are absolutely 100% my favorite listeners, because I know that not only am I ruining your day, but you are helping me. If you listen because you hate me, you are helping me, and I am ruining your day. It's literally the best of all worlds for me. And
I don't like the hate listeners.
I know, and
I'm far too sensitive.
That's because you're just a little angel over there. But
right.
So I got this comment in the chat. It's amazing how uninformed or incapable of critical thought some people are. So last segment, we had talked about waste, fraud, and abuse that goes on. Or the first segment, it was. We were talking about Tim Brown going, well, it'll be somewhere, head of Ways and Means in the House, going, it'll be somewhere between 300,000 and 900,000 additional people will get this $200 of the $1,500 that we confiscated from you with no use to fund the government. Like he deserved some sort of Congressional Medal of Freedom for giving us $200 of the $1,500 the government has taken from us and is sitting on. All of that aside, we said, look, that's a pretty wide number in a state of 7 million people. Again, 900,000 in a world of 8 billion, a rounding error. In a state of 7 million people, that seems like you should have a better idea of how many people that are before you vote to do something. And I said, but given our state's track record of waste, fraud, and abuse, and having no idea really who's on what in government services, especially the Healthy Indiana program. I'm sorry, I mean Obamacare. We call it HIP 2.0 because, well, we're a Republican state, and we wouldn't want to admit that we're doing radical left government programs left and right over here. And so I said, given the fact that there are healthy, able-bodied people who can, and in many cases do work. See, that's the key there, Casey. Again, it's the thing. We went through this yesterday. People hear the words, but it's like they don't hear the words. Able-bodied, healthy people who can, and in many cases, do work, who are getting insurance for between $5 and $10 a month, better insurance than the three of us have in this radio station that we pay a lot more than $5 to $10 a month for. I said I am skeptical of the diligent and lawful distribution of this $200. And so somebody in the chat, this is just classic. 5 minutes ago, you complained about the HIP program and the poor people who access that, but self-righteously shout about women having children that people like you would never support. So again, I'm going to say it slowly so that old Jujo in the YouTube chat can get a handle on this. We're not talking with the Healthy Indiana program and the giant government monstrosity that it is that is likely riddled with waste, fraud, and abuse, because I know people who are legally on the program, they've done nothing wrong, who could easily pay for their own insurance, and the state said, you qualify, sign on up. We're not talking about poor people. We're talking about able-bodied people who can, and in many cases do work, but because of the sort of jobs that they have and the way they report their income, which is the only tracking mechanism for if you are eligible for the Healthy Indiana program, once you're on it, will stay on taxpayer-funded insurance for years and years and years and years and years. Just like when you say, boy, it could be somewhere between 300 and 900,000 people who will get $200, you're probably opening it up for a bunch of people who shouldn't receive the money. Thank you, Jujo. Have a nice day. Kiss my butt.
He's Rob Kendall. My name is Casey Daniels, and the director of the FBI told lawmakers that the crisis at the southern border presents significant security issues. So this is Ray, and he expressed his concern about the border. This was during a Senate Judiciary Committee hearing. And despite other members of the Biden administration insisting that the border's under control, he's now coming out saying, yeah, we got a problem down there.
This was a train wreck yesterday. And again, it comes back to, so people want to get mad when we're critical of Trump. Who appointed Christopher Wray, director of the FBI? Donald Trump. What is Christopher Wray? A career establishment swamp creature. So it's really hard to complain about nameless, faceless bureaucrats and the bureaucracy that is weaponizing the legal system and our system of governance against people when you appointed the people. Christopher Wray is a joke. He's a goof. He's a train wreck. The whole thing was a gigantic you-know-what show yesterday. Mm-hmm. And you're right. So Lindsey Graham, a random, confused, accidental act of government accountability from Lindsey Graham broke out. And here's their little back and forth about people coming across the border, where the FBI director finally says, yeah, I'm kind of concerned about that.
At the moment, any port of entry, any potential vulnerability is something we know foreign terrorist organizations and others will seek to exploit. And you only have to look at the case that we charged pretty recently involving an individual trying to smuggle nationals into the U.S. to kill former President Bush, right? To be reminded that it's something we need to take deathly seriously.
So let's look at the state of the border. We're estimating there'll be 1 million gotaways before the end of the year. Are you familiar with that?
I've heard reports to that effect.
That we're on track to have the most illegal entries in the history of the country this year by a factor of a lot. Are you familiar with that?
I've heard, again, reports to that effect.
How easy would it be for a group of terrorists to intermingle themselves in this wave of illegal immigrants and be able to sneak into our country to kill a bunch of us?
Well, I mean, I don't want to give them a roadmap, but it's certainly something
I think they already know.
They already have the map. This year's number of Border Patrol busts are predicted to surpass last year's number, which was 1.7 million. Irregulars.
The border right now, because the Biden administration from day one, and even when he was running for president, adopted the do-drop-in policy. And not only that, but upon being elected president, remember when Biden held, this is before you were here, Casey, but he held the press conference when one of these caravans had shown up. And he was telling in this press conference what these kids are supposed to say when they call their parents back in the country of origin, what the parents are supposed to say when they call the country of origin. They're basically telling, this moron went out and basically told them how to manipulate the system to ensure that the minors can stay, unaccompanied minors can stay in this country, which is why people keep coming.
Where's the borders are?
There is no problem with saying, and I heard this years ago from somebody I really admire, and I thought it was a great way to describe it. There is no problem with wanting a very big wall with a very wide gate, and that we are a welcoming country of people who want to come here, work hard, and assimilate. But this idea that, as the Democrats do, they lust for completely out of control, borderless society so that they can get as many future registered Democrats who will be reliant on social services as possible for a generation of new Democrat voters. It does not make you a bad person to say, I want a welcoming society, yet this is insane.
He went on to say that he also expressed concern that foreign terrorist organizations, which they call FTOs, like the Islamic State or Al-Qaeda, may either launch or inspire large-scale attacks against the United States. Listen to this.
You're worried about an attack on the homeland emanating from places like Afghanistan.
So we are. As somebody who was in the FBI building on 9/11 a little over 20 years ago and have met with the families in the years afterwards, I think about that day every day, especially now that we're out. I'm worried about the potential loss of sources and collection over there, so we're going to have growing intelligence gaps. And I'm worried about the possibility that we will see Al-Qaeda reconstitute, the ISIS-K potentially taking advantage of the deteriorating security environment. And I'm worried about terrorists, including here in the United States, being inspired by what they see over there.
So after 9/11, the FBI was tasked with finding terrorists, and now they've just become another politicized government organization. Just think about the Steele dossier, the cover-up on Hunter, just everything.
And we were told, and we'll get to the Hunter Biden stuff later in the show, which that's even worse than what you just heard, if you can imagine that. But we were told there is no reason for us to be in Afghanistan, that we've solved this issue, we've taken it as far as we can, and yet you're hearing from the FBI director, oh, yeah, that's still kind of a terrorist haven, and it'll probably just get worse. So
yeah,
you get the government you deserve, Casey.
John Daly and the Farmer's Almanac. We're going to try and get to both of those coming up from 93 WIBC.
Hammer and Nigel coming up, taking the show on the road today in Columbus. Thompson Furniture and Mattress, big patio party, lots of food, lots of beer, lots of prizes. All the fun starts at 3, 93 WIBC.
Denny Smith here for Sundown Gardens. Save big this first week of August. 30% off all nursery stock this week at Sundown Gardens. That means save 30% off container shrubs and trees. Bald and burlap stock also included at 30% off. Save big now and enjoy your new shrubs and trees in your yard this fall. Find out everything Sundown Gardens has going on by following them on Facebook and Instagram. 186th Street and Spring Mill Road, sundown.gardens.com. That's sundown.gardens.com.
Business owners and professionals face special challenges in divorce court. In addition to everything else going on, they have to contend with allegations that they are earning more than they are, coupled with claims on their business or practice itself.
Attorney CPA Joe Cordell.
An effective defense often hinges on sophisticated strategies relating to income tax projections, business valuations, spousal support claims. Clients with assets depend on their divorce lawyer skills in these matters, and that's why it's so important to hire someone that has those skills.
Contact the domestic litigation firm of Cordell & Cordell to schedule an appointment with one of our firm's Indianapolis area attorneys, a partner men can count on. 317-322-0122, or visit online at CordellCordell.com. That's CordellCordell.com. Office in downtown Indianapolis. Cordell & Cordell, 101 West Ohio Street, Suite 1100, Indianapolis, Indiana 46204.
Summer's in Indy, and since 2001, Rhino Shield has been covering Indiana homes and businesses. Just ask Mike.
Was watching TV one night and saw the Rhino Shield ad, and I thought, well, if they can do a house, they can probably do a building.
And Rhino Shield's not paint, it's better.
So they came out and they gave me a price, showed me how the Rhino works, how it lasts, and how the guarantee works.
Business owners, you too can get the 25-year protection of Rhino Shield right now for 10% off the regular price.
They started on the building. They waited for us to leave, and they worked Saturday and Sunday so they wouldn't affect our business at all. This was the great part of it. I came back Sunday night, and you couldn't even tell they were here. There was no paint on the ground. They did a fantastic job.
Here's owner Shane Smith.
This offer is limited, so call me at 888-RHINO-41. That's 888-RHINO-41.
Don't paint.
Don't vinyl. Go Rhino.
Don't vinyl. Go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ziprecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate through the site within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free. Just go to this exclusive web address, ziprecruiter.com/free. That's ziprecruiter.com/free. ziprecruiter.com/free.
Everybody here is out of sight.
We're going to try and get to the John Daly story later in the morning because we've got to talk about something else, somebody else. It's Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC. Good morning. So Kevin Spacey has to pay $31 million in damages over his House of Cards firing, sexual misconduct as well. So here's the deal. He played Frank Underwood on the show House of Cards. He was cut from the series after allegations surfaced that he sexually preyed on young men. He was fired. They ended finishing the show without him in the very last season. And now he's being sued and has to pay the producer of House of Cards nearly $31 million. So not only did this guy get fired, but now he's got to pay a whole lot of money. I'm sure he has the cash to do it. But I'm really bummed about this, Rob.
Why?
Because I like him as an actor. He has been in so many movies. And now I can't like him anymore.
No. That's not how this works at all. It's like one of my favorite movies is The Naked Gun. Mm-hmm. O.J. Simpson has a prominent role in The Naked Gun, and his scenes are hilarious in The Naked Gun. I'm not going to stop watching The Naked Gun because O.J. Simpson went on a little rampage and, took out 2 people, allegedly. Although he was found liable, even though the criminal justice system didn't work as it's supposed to. At least he was ultimately found liable for their deaths. Right. I mean, wasn't he found liable in civil court? Yeah. Mm-hmm. So I'm not going to stop watching The Naked Gun just because O.J. Simpson, lived a horrific personal life. You don't have to stop enjoying something someone was in because they've already been in it. They've already done it. It'd be one thing to say, well, O.J. Simpson has a new movie coming out. Okay, well, in that way, you are supporting that person. So maybe there's some merit to that, but you should not feel bad for
enjoying their past art.
Enjoying something you've already enjoyed because it's already done. I mean, here's a great example. Phil Spector, okay? Phil Spector, The Wall of Sound, countless artists, revived Let It Be for the Beatles. I mean, all-time legendary producer. If I were to say to someone who enjoys music from that era, well, Phil Spector's, final years of his life were horrific and awful, and he went to prison for murder and, whatever. But I'm punishing myself, right?
Yeah.
Phil Spector had already done all of those things. And so I don't think you have to feel bad about enjoying someone who clearly had a talent once upon a time. I don't think you have to feel bad about that at all.
Just listen to this list of movies. American Beauty, LA Confidential, The Usual Suspects, Glengarry Glen Ross. He was in Seven. He was in A Time to Kill.
He's a phenomenal actor. I will say this about House of Cards,
Pay It
however.
Forward.
House of Cards was fine, like for the first season. And then these people who think this was some master stroke of cinematography, it was totally unrealistic. There were like 90 things in every episode that if you know anything about politics and government, you would watch that and go, that's ridiculous.
It would be like me watching WKRP in Cincinnati going, it doesn't work that way.
Yeah, that was always the thing. People, oh my gosh, what a great show. Oh my gosh, it's so great. It was entertaining, but if you know what's going on, the idea that whatever he was, a congressman or a vice president or whatever it was, when he pushed that girl, off the ledge in front of the subway and he's in like an Inspector Gadget cloak and cap. I mean, that is totally unrealistic. So, but yes, many, many phenomenal works by Kevin Spacey in
Horrible
terms of
bosses.
being an actor.
Working Girl, horrible bosses too. The list goes on. And I enjoyed when Frank Underwood would, hit the table with his ring.
Right.
You're listening to Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC, and the Farmer's Almanac is predicting a bone-chilling winter for Indiana. They're correct about 80% of the time, Rob. I think I could hit that target. Yeah, it's going to be cold in the Midwest in the winter. Is that prediction worth $8? They have 1.2 million followers on Facebook. And the prediction for Indiana this year, they've been doing this since 1818, by the way, so they do have some experience in it, but they say the first bite of winter should come earlier than last year. December 22 looks stormy and cold, with active storm patterns developing and hanging around for most of the season.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Okay, this is not 1818.
Correct.
It's 2022, in which we have long-range weather forecasts. Now, the accuracy, may be off a little bit, but the point is, it's not like it used to be in 1818 where, will it snow in the next, week? Who knows? Should we stockpile food? Who knows? The modern era in which the long-range weather forecast, do people just buy this for fun now? What good does it actually do you? I'm sure there's somebody who can answer this question for me, either in the YouTube chat or rob@wibc.com. What is the purpose of buying this other than it is just something fun to laugh at and see how accurate it was at the end of the year?
Yeah, a meteorologist with the National Weather Service says that the kind of prediction that the almanac does is super hard because weather is very fluid and there are many factors that can change, especially when you're dealing with La Niñas and El Niños and elements and things like that change. So perhaps the almanac is just for fun. Quick question.
Yes.
Who do you trust most with your weather forecasts? An app, an almanac, a TV meteorologist?
Marcus Bailey from Wish TV.
Okay. Thanks for joining us this morning. It's Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC.
Everybody's dancing in the moonlight.
It's time for the Crest Point Real Estate Market Minute.
It's Terry Stacey, and with us is Patrick Keller, managing broker and owner of Crest Point Real Estate, Indy's real estate experts.
Hey Terry, this week I'd like to put things into perspective in regards to real estate. Obviously the headlines have been talking about how real estate is changing due to higher interest rates and it's not as favorable to purchase. 6 months ago when rates were about 3.5% to 3.75%, if you were interested in a $300,000 house, you likely would have had to spend about $330,000 or $340,000 on that home to win it. Today, that $300,000 house, you're likely to spend $300,000 on it. With the increase in interest rates, the mortgage payment on that $300,000 house is ironically very similar to the $300,000 listed house 6 months ago. What we're seeing is that it's a pretty even wash right now, and you have an opportunity.
Get your home value estimate in 60 seconds at patrickkeller.realtor.
You asked, we toasted. That's right, breakfast bagels are back at McDonald's. Wake up with your favorite today, like the steak, egg, and cheese bagel, freshly toasted and topped with a tender, juicy steak patty, a fluffy folded egg, melty American cheese, and grilled onions. Or enjoy other classic combinations like the sausage, egg, and cheese or bacon, egg, and cheese. When you're all finished, you'll be wishing it was morning, all over again. Breakfast hours only at participating McDonald's.
As a parent, you want the best education for your child. Choose Marian University Preparatory School for this school year. Their faith-based online private school is currently enrolling students in grades 6 through 9. Your child will benefit from their personalized college prep curriculum and supportive community. Financial aid is available through the Indiana Choice Scholarship. To learn more about the unique educational experience of Marian University Preparatory School, visit k12.com/Marian. That's k12.com/MARIAN.
At Franciscan Health, we're inspired by what moves you and how you move through life. So if you're suffering from joint pain and want to get back to an active lifestyle, Franciscan Health Mooresville and Carmel, home to the Center for Hip and Knee Surgery, is your best move. Our world-renowned orthopedic surgeons offer the latest advancements in total joint replacement, including outpatient surgery. If you're ready to get moving with less pain, request an appointment at centerforhipandkneesurgery.org.
At Family Dollar, we've got more of what you want for back to school, back to the office, and back to all your fall activities. You'll find more of what you need in every store. Kickstart everyone's day the right way with General Mills, Post, and Kellogg cereals 4 for $6 with Smart Coupons. And help the entire family fall back into fashion with our huge selection of stylish apparel and footwear at great value. Buy one, get one free. Family Dollar, helping you do more.
8 years ago, we started climbing mountains to raise dollars and awareness for children battling cancer. Over the years, we've summited some amazing peaks, raising hundreds of thousands of dollars for our partners. On August 13th, we head down to South America for our biggest climb yet. Chimborazo is over 20,000 feet tall, and we are climbing it to raise money for St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. Learn more about our climbs and make a donation today by visiting keepclimbingfoundation.org.
Hi, this is Denny Smith. Are your energy bills starting to scare you? Why don't you take back your budget by upgrading to a Trane HVAC system today? Did you know you can save up to 64% off your current heating and cooling costs? Well, you can. And as a former HVAC contractor myself, it really is hard to stop a Trane because their systems literally provide intuitive comfort. Want to learn more? Call Precision Comfort Systems at 317-867-2554, or you can find them at precisioncomfort.com.
Coming up in 2 minutes, how will the House vote? They're inching closer to a vote on abortion and inflation. Plus, why a funeral home in southern Indiana has been shut down. It has to do with the Attorney General. And Matt Baer breaks down some big road closures that you need to know about. All that and more coming up from the Shepherd Community Center studios after Fox News Radio at the top of the hour. You're listening to 93 WIBC, WIBC HD1 Indianapolis. It's 10 o'clock.
More hiring leads to more selling. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. A way better than expected jobs report leads to some worry on Wall Street. Fox's Lillian Wu has all the numbers live.
Dave, in fact, we got twice as many jobs as expected last month. 528,000 added in July. The jobless rate dropped to 3.5%. That's a half-century low, and it means a number of pandemic job losses have now been recouped. Now, Wall Street is selling on this stellar jobs report, with investors worried it might mean the Fed will have to keep on hiking interest rates. The Dow is off about 90 points, S&P 20, and the NASDAQ about 1%, down about 114. Dave?
Lillian, China's still angry over House Speaker Nancy Pelosi's trip to Taiwan, which led to military drills all around the island nation. That, and what you're about to hear, prompting China's ambassador to be summoned to the White House.
China will no longer participate in talks with the U.S. over military matters, anti-drug efforts, or climate change concerns. China claims Taiwan as its own, whereas U.S. policy has long favored Taiwan's democratic leanings and free markets without officially recognizing its independence.
Fox's Eben Brown. Russia said today it is open to discussing a prisoner exchange that could free Brittany Griner, but doesn't want all it publicized. The day after the star American basketball player got 9 years in prison for having cannabis oil vape cartridges.
That further compounds the injustice that's being done to her and her wrongful detention.
Secretary of State Antony Blinken also wants Paul Whelan released, an American jail that is an accused spy. Police in Las Vegas are searching for the gunman who shot a man dead at the Mirage Hotel and Casino last night.
We believe it was an isolated incident that happened inside of the room.
Police Captain Dory Corin, 2 women were critically injured. An arrest this morning in Nebraska connected to 2 house fires in the city of Laurel that happened right after each other. 1 body was found in the first home, 3 more in the second burnt house. America's listening to Fox News.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
They may vote soon. Mostly cloudy, 76 downtown. I'm Kurt Darling. Here's what's trending at 10:02. Lots of amendments were considered Thursday as lawmakers continue to bicker over an abortion ban in the State House. One of those amendments was from Batesville State Rep Cindy Zimke, who suggested a 13-week window for abortion in certain cases.
This is to preserve women's rights in this state so that they do have that first 13 weeks to weigh and measure this decision.
The amendment was voted down, though. A final vote on the version of the bill could come later today. Same goes for an inflation relief bill that could send you a $200 rebate.
I'm Eric Berman. The rebate has slimmed down slightly from the $225 Governor Holcomb proposed. House Ways and Means Chairman Tim Brown says that's because it's been expanded to cover people who don't file tax returns. They'd have to file one next year to get the money. Everyone else would get a check this year. Eric Berman, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
A funeral home in southern Indiana is being shut down after dozens of decomposing bodies were found. Police in Jeffersonville found 31 bodies earlier this year in various stages of decomposition, unrefrigerated and in body bags at the Lanford Funeral Home and Family Center last month. Now, Indiana Attorney General Todd Rokita has suspended their license. Lots of orange barrels going up this weekend, Matt Baer.
The on-ramp from Allisonville Road to eastbound 465 closing tonight at 9 p.m. through 2024. Part of the ClearPath Northeast construction project. Also, the on-ramps from Keystone Avenue to eastbound 465 will shut down for the weekend for striping. ClearPath Northeast will add travel lanes to 465 and redo portions of I-69. Learn more from the WIBC Traffic Center at WIBC Traffic.
More than half of the Hoosier State is in the high risk level for spreading COVID-19. 53 counties are in the highest risk category on the CDC data map. Over 16,000 cases and 50 COVID-related deaths were reported in Indiana this past week. I'm Kurt Darling, on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
If you want to win at any game or competition, whether it's in sports, your career, your finances, you have to have a solid game plan. Retirement works the exact same way. If you want a winning retirement strategy, you need a great coach, a manager, an expert.
And that's where Brian Singer and the Singer Financial Group come in. The Singer Financial Group puts together the pieces of a comprehensive retirement plan to make sure that your retirement years are the best years of your life. Every day you wake up winning. Singer Financial can help you make the next chapter of your life whatever you want it to be. Go to singerfinancialgroup.com or call 317-852-9153 to schedule a discovery visit. 317-852-9153. Find out how the Singer Financial Group can help you pursue the sweet life in retirement.
Investment advisory services offered through registered investment advisors Howard Bailey Securities, LLC, and AE Wealth Management, LLC. Working with Singer Financial cannot guarantee investment success or that specific financial goals will be achieved.
You're listening to Rob Kendall.
The Republican Party in Indiana sees zero problem in record spending, in record taxation.
And Casey Daniels.
You went out there and said, please vote for me. You debated other people on why you're the better person for the position. Suck it up.
This is the Kendall and Casey Show on 93 WIBC.
Good morning. It is Friday, August 5th. Things that are trending this hour. Elon Musk. He wants to build his own private Texas airport. This would allow him private jet travel as well as service for Tesla and SpaceX.
And he's about to get a whole bunch of incentives to buy his car. A guy who's got so much money he can build his own airport, and the federal government said, yeah, he needs some help.
Also trending, and we just talked about this, Kevin Spacey, who's been ordered to pay $31 million to the House of Cards producer. And finally trending, Cracker Barrel. Now, their Facebook page doesn't normally spark a whole lot of discussion, but that changed when they said this week they'll be adding a plant-based sausage patty to their restaurant menu. You don't like breakfast food, huh?
I do not eat breakfast food, very, very, very rarely. And I've never, at least as an adult, been a breakfast person. Here's why I think I'm not a breakfast person, Casey, now that I've been past minute or two examining my own life.
In regards to breakfast.
Just in general, which is always a scary proposition. For years and years and years, I owned my own business. Mm-hmm. And as such, it involved working a lot late at night, and I would oftentimes not go to bed until like 3 a.m. I didn't have to go to work. I worked out of my house, And so when you go to bed at 3 a.m., you wouldn't wake up until like noon. And so as such, it was basically lunchtime. And so I often would eat lunch as a breakfast. And I think I just undeveloped, I don't know if that's a right word, a taste for breakfast food.
Mm-hmm. Well, I won't ask you your favorite breakfast place, so now I'm going to have to ask Kevin. Your favorite breakfast place? Cracker Barrel? Denny's?
I like Hot Cakes Emporium.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
I like Cafe
There's
Panache.
a lot of those good little like pancake houses and stuff. Every town has one. In fact, yesterday I went to Flapjacks, which is the one on Main Street in Brownsburg. Had lunch there.
That's a good one, too. They're all pretty similar to each other. But yeah, Flapjacks is another good one.
Get this. This is where the local restaurants still come up big time, even in the Biden inflation world. Casey, for lunch, I got a cup of soup, meatloaf, mashed potatoes, and a vegetable for $7.99, and I had the food within 10 minutes of walking in the door. It was awesome.
Yeah, that's a pretty good price for all that food.
Yeah, it was great.
Yeah.
It's phenomenal.
Cafe Panache, nobody beats them for breakfast, by the way.
Boy, if you must be making more than us. If you're hanging out at Cafe Patachu.
It's a treat.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely a treat.
They're not running no soup kitchen over there.
No. But it's good food. You're listening to Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC. So the chamber is expected to take its first vote on the Inflation Reduction Act on Saturday morning. Democrats need the support of every member of their caucus. And this is where Kyrsten Sinema enters. She's the only Senate Democrat who had not committed to voting for the act, which is a $740 billion deal cut by Joe Manchin and Chuck Schumer. She had concerns about a tax measure. She wanted to nix language, narrowing the so-called carried interest loophole. But now she has said that she will move forward with the bill.
This is great because, again, the Republicans are just the best. And by the best, I mean the worst. You know, last year it was, Sinema, Manchin, standing strong. Sinema, Manchin, you guys are in the wrong party. You should come over here where they like you and we'll be kind to you and you really need to be with us. And at the end of the day, look, Kyrsten Sinema was a far left radical who came to prominence as a green lunatic and I believe an Iraq war protester and was an advocate and a grassroots person who ended up in the Arizona House of Representatives, I think, and then ultimately became a United States Senator. She's not moderate. She's not middle of the road. There's nothing about her record that asserts that. And at the end of the day, just like with Manchin, she was protected her own interest. In this case, she wanted to make sure her rich donor buddies weren't punished who were managing these wealth funds. And once that got taken care of, and she got some minor concessions that made, again, her rich donor buddies happy on business, she said, grow the government at your own leisure. These people are not your friends. They're not good people. They don't have your best interest at heart. So she got what she wanted. She sold out. Manchin got what he wanted, which was that pipeline. He sold out, and then they sold you out. I don't know why people keep thinking that there are all these good actors inside the federal government. There are very, very, very few good elected actors inside the federal government.
Moody's chief economist, Mark Zandi, said the outlook is cloudy, and he pegs the risk of recession over the next 12 months at 50-50. He said we need to catch a break here to avoid it. We need a bit of luck.
Well, and this totally flies in the face of what Manchin and Sinema have said publicly about raising taxes in a recession, about fighting, inflation. And they're full of crap. But all these people are full of crap. Well, almost all of them. Guys like Thomas Massey are pretty consistent and pretty good. But most of these people are absolutely full of crap. They are survivalists. They have no, for the most part, applicable skill sets that apply in the real world, which is why they just, for the most part, go in this big giant loop of, elected official, lobbyist, consultant, back to elected official, attorney in there somewhere too, oftentimes. There's nothing. They are totally in it for themselves. You're sold out, and it should be a lesson to who the Republican Party is that they were clamoring for Manchin and Sinema to be in that party a year ago.
Well, and the Republicans were donating to her.
Of course.
They were giving her all sorts of money, hoping she would stonewall this Inflation Reduction Act. And at the end of the day, she siding with them.
But in a weird way, Casey, she protected the people who donate to her. Who did she make sure was taken care of? Very rich wealth managers and the way they're taxed. And there were taxes related to corporations who are also big donors to her, who lobbied her aggressively. Once they got taken care of, screw everyone else. You know who's going to get screwed? Everyone else, because they are raising taxes, they are growing government, and I'll wait for somebody to tell me anytime in the history of ever more government, explosive growth of government meddling in the private sector, government raising taxes, when in the long term that worked out well for everyone.
We'd do so much better if they would just stay out of our stuff. White House Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre was asked to comment about the economy, and guess what? We're transitioning. We're transitioning. This is what she said.
The employment report is expected to show that job gains last month slowed to 250,000 from 372,000 in June. Does the administration view this as a sign the economy is healthy?
So, as we've been saying for many months now, we are in and the president, including the president, has been saying that we're in a transition to a stable and steady growth. And during that transition, what you'll see is instead of that record high breaking job numbers that we've been seeing every month in the realm of 500,000 to 600,000 jobs on average per month, we're expecting to be closer to 150,000 jobs per month. And so that would actually that will be a sign of a success of this transition, and this kind of job growth is consistent with the low unemployment numbers that we've been seeing, that rate of 3.6%, and we see that, and others have see that as a healthy economy.
Fact, the economy has shrunk 2 quarters in a row.
And the jobs numbers were a little better today than they anticipated, but my question remains, how could they not be? I mean, everywhere I go...
those are just old jobs that people are returning to.
Well, but everywhere I go, I see, it seems like, help wanted signs. This is the question I have for the left, who think all these people should be on government assistance. Everywhere you go, it seems like there is a help wanted sign. We hear about all these companies. I mean, how many fast food places do you see, hey, dine-in closed due to lack of staff, drive-through only thing open, or they don't open at all? How is there all this need for government assistance when there's so many jobs that they can't fill them? How do these two things, how do they work together? How do you justify that? And again, it comes back to this economy has been turned inside out. They shut it down. Because we have absolute morons who run this country at a state, a local, and most of all a federal level, who think it's just like a spigot, because most of these people have never had real jobs in the real world where they've had to earn real money. Oh, we'll just open it back up. Everything will be fine. You cannot do that.
In the wake of House Speaker Nancy Pelosi's recent trip to Taiwan, the Chinese military staging massive, provocative live-fire exercises. This is in close proximity to Taiwan. They put sanctions on her. And Peter Doocy asked John Kirby a great question. He wanted to know why President Biden isn't as tough on China as he's been on Russia.
Why is it that over the last couple of months, President Biden's been so much tougher on Russia than he is on China?
I wouldn't agree with the premise of the question, Peter.
Well, I think when Russia was getting aggressive around Ukraine, the president was out every couple days telling Putin, don't do it. And now China is getting aggressive around Taiwan, and we're not hearing anything like that from the president.
Oh, beg to differ. We've been standing up here for almost a week, Peter, talking about our concerns about what China was preparing to do. We put out declassified information that we saw what the Chinese playbook was going to be. Look, I stood at another podium not long ago, and much of the same way we reacted then, we're reacting now in terms of being honest and transparent about what's going on and calling it out for what it is. And then today, talking about exactly what we're going to do to make sure we can help preserve a free and open Indo-Pacific. So I'm afraid I just challenged the premise of your question.
So experts are saying that all of these joint air and sea exercises is a signal that China's mad.
Yes, but why do people do things? Why do people show a threat of force? In this case, China is doing that because they believe Biden is weak. They believe there will be no ramifications, same way as why did Putin go into the Ukraine? Because they believe Biden is weak. Biden proved he was weak in Afghanistan. They're repeatedly proven correct, and so there'll be no ramifications for doing this.
It's Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC. And did you hear the news about Brittany Griner? Well, if not, it's up next from 93 WIBC.
When traffic's a bear, Matt Bear is a beast.
On the north side, 465 East is a parking lot for Meridian. Also, we have slow traffic from 82nd Street all the way up to 860.
When you need to get from here,
if you're coming in from Hamilton County, it's going to be tough
to there.
Into bridge construction at 465 and 60.
Matt Bear, mornings and afternoons.
It's going to be tough getting home tonight, but you'll be binge watching Stranger Things before too long.
93 WIBC.
Garage Doors of Indianapolis has been a local, family-owned and operated business for nearly 50 years and helps keep central Indiana's economy strong by employing over 70 families. Garage Doors of Indianapolis stands by their products and services while they share and embrace our conservative values. So when you have garage door problems, call them today for service today. Garage Doors of Indianapolis, 875-4577, 875-4577, or visit doorstoday.com.
Every search you make, every click you take, they'll be watching you.
Tired of companies like Google and Facebook watching everything you do online? There's actually a simple solution. DuckDuckGo. It's an all-in-one privacy app with a built-in private search engine, web browser, one-click data clearing, email protection, and more, all for free. Download the app today and get the most comprehensive privacy protection with a push of a button. DuckDuckGo. Privacy simplified.
The roar of our engines, the pump of our heartbeats, the pedal to our metal, the sparks that ignite us, the pistons that push us, the passions that drive us. From the feelings that move us to the places that pull us on the roads that unite us. With nearly 6,000 stores and over 17,000 auto care centers, Napa has America's largest network of parts and care, here to keep you firing on all cylinders.
A $2,000 energy-saving credit plus sale prices on energy-efficient view windows, siding, and doors. Up to $2,000 energy credit and no payments, no interest for up to 22 months.
You're listening to Rob Kendall.
Oh, he's mean.
And Casey Daniels.
She's kind, she's humble.
On 93 WIBC.
Last night, as I went to bed, I cuddled in, pulled the blankets up, and I thought, this is nice. I have a roof over my head. I'm not hungry. I'm grateful. And then for some reason, my mind wandered to Brittany Griner, and I thought, well, at least I'm not in a Russian jail right now.
Oh.
And that's where she is, and that's where she could potentially spend 9 years because a Russian court has sentenced her to that.
Casey, I have a question.
Yeah.
And I realize I'm a radical right-wing extremist, and you are the voice of moderation on this show, so I will ask you this. But it seems to me, as someone who has negotiated some business deals over the years, that it would be a rather suspect business negotiating tool to openly declare how badly you want someone returned before they've been sentenced to anything. And I said this yesterday when the sentencing came down on Brittany Griner. Why would that Russian court have done anything less? They know, clearly, we're about to give them one of the most dangerous men in the world in exchange for Brittany Griner. What do we think? They're going to, we'll just give her 6 months. It'll be fine. this, again, comes back to the Biden administration just openly, gleefully, publicly entering into negotiations before this has even happened. And by the way, we should not be giving a basketball player up for the merchant of death. Sorry, you shouldn't have gone over to Russia. What were you doing going over to Russia in the first place? And people say, oh, well, blah, blah. No. This is why I don't leave the country. This right here, Casey, is why I don't leave the country. Because you know what I have in this country? The right to an attorney and the right to free speech. And I know what what states I can vape and where you can smoke weed. It's very clear. The rules are very clear on what you can do. And they're not seizing you at the airport and throwing you in solitary confinement. This is why I don't leave the country.
She knowingly broke the law in a foreign country.
And you could say, well, the law is ridiculous. Well, what do you think is going on right now? Like, this woman is leaving Russia at a time that there are a heightened state of conflict between the United States and Russia. You can say the law is ridiculous. It absolutely is. What they jailed her for, absolutely. But why would you give them any leverage or ability possible to do anything? Not that they're not going to do what they want to do anyway. But we're about to trade, Casey. The merchant of death, one of the most dangerous men in the world, who regularly arms and empowers terrorist, evil, awful regimes, for a basketball player. What do you think that guy's going to do when he gets back to Russia? Yeah. What is he going to do? You think he's going to start
learn a new trade,
work for the street department somewhere? And in our world, because this woman has some level of notoriety. By the way, never mind that Marine that had been sitting in prison for years and nobody gave a damn about him.
Right.
But a basketball player goes over there and is a big lefty and was regularly, not standing for the flag, not, stay for the anthem, et cetera. Oh, well, yeah, we got to get her back right away because her wife went on television and made a public stink about it. Never mind that Marine that's been sitting over there wasting away for all those years. We weren't in any hurry to trade the merchant of death for him. You're giving up the merchant of death, one of the largest, most dangerous arms dealers in the entire world, for a basketball player.
I think that they had their eye on her because she had been traveling back and forth.
Yes.
So they knew. They were watching her and using it as a political ploy.
It's why I don't go to Mexico. It's why I don't go to Russia. It's why I do not leave the country.
Do you think they gave her an exceptionally harsh sentence on purpose?
Well, sure. It's ridiculous. She didn't do anything wrong. I mean, but the point is she gave him the avenue by which to do that. Look, here's the deal.
Well, she did break their law.
She did.
So, yeah, she did do something wrong.
Here's the point. Who was the kid's name that got North Korea? Otto Warmbier. He was horrifically tortured by the North Koreans, and ultimately Trump got him back, but he was in such a bad condition that he passed away. He tore a poster down off a wall in North Korea, and you might say, well, of course, that's a ridiculous response. Here's the deal, though. If you're going to go to a terrorist country, of which I consider Russia a terrorist country, if there is one dude who you associate with the country, that's a terrorist country, that's my standard, don't do anything wrong. Like, you have to know if you are in one of these countries. North Korea, Russia, China, Venezuela, Cuba, wherever. This is why I have no idea why you'd want to go to one of those countries, period, anyway. But if you're going to do it, don't be breaking the law.
Obey the rules. Biden released a statement, and he did say that she was wrongfully detained. I don't know if she was wrongfully detained. She was breaking their law, and they grabbed her. But she also said, and you were speaking to this, I honestly feel, at one point, she said, I honestly feel we should not play the national anthem during our season.
Yeah, and that's fine, and that's her right. But who did she come to? Oh, save me, help me. The American people, the American flag, the American country. Help me say. She wasn't going to.
I bet she wants to hear that national anthem now.
She didn't ask China to help her, now did she?
Yeah. What is she going to give us, the American people, if she is traded?
And this is the point. And look, this may sound heartless or cold or whatever, but the reality is she made a choice to go to that country. I have no idea why you would do that, especially knowing what's going on. She made a choice. It wasn't like she claims the evidence was planted. She admitted it was hers. She broke their law. And now, because she has some form of publicity, and her wife was because the networks wanted this to happen, put her wife all over national television. Now we're about to give away some guy who's going to go ensure the deaths of a whole bunch more innocent people and make us all more at risk. Not doing that trade. Sucks she's there. Maybe there's other ways you could get her out, but you should not negotiate with terrorists.
She put the country in that position. It's Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC, and Holcomb made an announcement, and we'll have that for you next from 93 WIBC.
Mark loves summers in Indy, but he hates to paint, so he called Rhino Shield.
It's a two-story home built in 1992. Around 2001, looking at needing to paint, I heard a radio ad, with a Rhino Shield, you won't have to paint again for another 25 years.
That's because Rhino Shield's not paint, it's better.
They're very professional. We had everything done. Everything that would typically be painted on a house was done, and it was very fast.
All right, Indy, get the 25-year guaranteed protection of Rhino Shield right now for 10% off the regular price.
It was done in 2001 and still going strong. From what I've seen on our home, they can easily offer a 25-year guarantee and not worry about it.
Here's owner Shane Smith.
This offer is limited, so call me at 888-RHINO-41. That's 888-RHINO-41.
Don't paint.
Don't vinyl.
Go Rhino.
No paint. Don't vinyl. Go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
America's leading internet provider just got even faster. Switch to Spectrum Internet, and you now get starting speeds of up to 300 megabits per second. Faster speeds for streaming, faster speeds for gaming, faster speeds for working or learning, all with 99.9% network reliability. So no matter what you do online, you can do it better, safer, and now even faster with Spectrum Internet. Visit Spectrum.com for details. Based on internet subscribers among top ISPs, speeds may vary. Restrictions apply.
Puccini's Pizza, Pasta, Puccini's. 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 Puccini's Pizza, Pasta, Puccini's.
Your Indiana adventure is near. Come to Grant County this year.
It's the Hog Days Motorcycle Rally downtown Marion, Indiana, August 12th to 14th, honoring the Cornfield Classic race and the first ever Harley Victory Lap with a live pig. Celebrate Marion's cool motorcycle heritage with a killer bike show, vintage machines, and rockin' bands all weekend. Get details at showmegrantcounty.com. Grant County, Indiana. Classic cool.
Indiana adventure is near. Come to Grant County this year.
Hills of Brown Vacation Rentals invites you to come experience summer in the Brown County woods. Wildflowers springing up everywhere. Enjoy that peace and wonder of Brown County with a cabin rental through Hills of Brown Vacation Rentals. Cabins of all sizes, seclusion in the woods, or stay in Nashville near all the shopping and enjoy dining at the many great restaurants. Most Hills of Brown cabins have hot tubs and game rooms. Fantastic weekday specials available. Mention radio for 10% off any non-discounted stay. Find your cabin at browncountylogcabins.com. browncountylogcabins.com.
Hey, what's up? It's Hammer and Nigel. Join us Friday live in Columbus at the Thompson Furniture Patio Party at 3 o'clock. Free pizza, Upland beer, and big giveaways at 25th and Central in Columbus.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
It's past. It's partly cloudy and 77 downtown. I'm Kirk Darling. Here's what's trending at 10:30. Indiana House lawmakers are taking up votes on inflation relief and abortion today. They've just passed the inflation relief package by a vote of 93-6. It includes a suspension of many taxes that you pay every day and a $200 rebate for each Hoosier. It'll now be reconciled in the state Senate again for final approval. They are now debating the abortion bill right now. Live fire drills by the Chinese military still going on dangerously close to Taiwan. Fox's Evan Brown.
China will no longer participate in
talks with the U.S. over military matters, anti-drug efforts, or climate change concerns. The communist nation says this is retaliation for Nancy Pelosi visiting Taiwan and expressing support for the island status quo. China claims Taiwan as its own, whereas U.S. policy has long favored Taiwan's democratic leanings and free markets without officially recognizing its independence. Eben Brown, Fox News.
Warner Brothers is announcing the merging of HBO Max and the Discovery Plus streaming services. The media company confirmed the plan Thursday and laid out a timeline for the merger, which will launch as a single service during the summer of 2023. I'm Kurt Darling, on The Level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
You're listening to the Kendall and Casey Show on 93 WIBC.
An amendment was brought up, and in it, it asked, should we ask everyone how they feel about abortion? Arrington Amendment, that's what it is, to make abortion a public question in November's election. She wanted to know, shall abortion remain legal in Indiana?
Yeah, so I thought this was interesting. And by the way, the Governor Disingenuous has spoke about the plan, the House's and now Senate's plan to give you even less money back than they had planned before. So we'll get to that in a second. But yes, Sue Arrington, she's a Democrat from Muncie, offered an amendment yesterday in the Amendapalooza over at the House of Representatives. And basically, it would have put on the ballot, shall abortion remain legal in Indiana? And it was ultimately voted down 68-32, so very much mirroring the makeup of the Indiana House, a largely partisan vote. And I don't know how to feel about this. I think that's an interesting question about where would Hoosiers come down. Now, if you were to say, should abortion remain legal, I think that might pass, depending on how it was written. The problem the Democrats have, and because the media is totally complicit in not holding them accountable, is they never get asked, where's the end of the road for you, right? Like when we had Mike Shmuel on, the Democrat, we asked the question, we asked it a couple different ways, we didn't get the answer, so you are led to believe it doesn't end, right? There is no end to the Democrats' standard on abortion, from conception to live birth, because that's where the lunatic base of the Democrat Party is. Now, we have not disputed I'll speak for myself. I don't want to speak for you, and you can obviously chime in on this. My frustration with the Republicans is not the implication that, well, by banning abortion except for rape or incest or the health of the mother, you're not where the majority of, probably if you were to poll people in Indiana. That's not what you campaigned on, though. You campaigned on ending abortion. So you lied to people for all of these years. You are guilty, not because I'm saying you have some radical extremist position. You are guilty because you used and manipulated people on a very important, serious topic that is personally near and dear to many people's hearts, to get them to knock on doors for you, give you money, go out and put signs in yards. You built a supermajority on the backs, because almost every single one of these people who is a Republican who's elected in the House and Senate and Governor Disingenuous campaigned on being pro-life. Well, Casey, to me, pro-life means you're pro every life, not just ones that are conceived in the way that we prefer.
Or not just ones that are 9 weeks and 6 days.
So I think it would be an interesting question, and it would depend on how it's worded and, where is abortion. The public at large, and this is sick, and it's where we're at as a society, but it is what it is. Polling shows that the public, by and large, supports first trimester abortion. Now, I think that's horrific, and I think that's horrendous, but I also maintain it is not an issue that drives the majority of people to the polls. And it comes back to, if indeed the public were so wed to abortion rights and on demand being able to suck the brains out of a defenseless fetus whenever you want, then Republicans would not even have control of the government in Indiana, much less supermajorities. So the people have spoke that even if they have an opinion on it, it is not a die-hard opinion because they keep voting for you, and you've told people you're pro-life.
Well, so Arrington said, although this is a representative democracy, it's clear that our body of 150 legislators cannot come to a consensus on abortion policy. Okay. She says, by asking Hoosiers their thoughts on this issue, we could have crafted policy that actually reflects public opinion. Now, I think that would be interesting, if for no other reason than to find out exactly how the entire state feels. Where does everybody stand on this issue? It gives everybody an opportunity to say, in private even, in the voting booth, how they feel. If they don't want to announce it publicly, they can do it privately on the ballot.
Well,
but is this also just a ploy to get more people to go vote who normally wouldn't be voting because they want that opportunity to express their opinion, even if it's private?
Well, sure, and they saw what happened in Kansas, which is the Republicans made a big mistake by putting that on in a primary because they thought, well, less people will vote, when in reality, the anti-life movement is very well organized, and they are so passionate about killing defenseless babies that they were able to organize, and Abdul and I talked about this yesterday, too cute by half, right? And they put it in a general election, probably would, the pro-life movement probably would have won that debate in Kansas. Yes, absolutely. The Democrats believe now, because of Kansas, they believe this polling, which amazing people... Polling always works the same way in national elections. Don't you people pay attention? It almost always is, okay, it's kind of accurate, and then we get closer to the election, and, well, magically, everybody's really happy with the Democrats. Ignore the history of this country, and ignore that on every individual topic people are upset, and ignore the fact that the economy is in shambles and inflation's out of control. Well, our polling is showing that people really like the Democrats. And then magically, as we get closer to the election day, I mean, the same thing happened even with Trump in 2020. Yes, Trump, air quote, lost the election, if you indeed believe that 81 million legal votes were cast for Joe Biden, who has an approval rating of 7 now. But it was, it's going to be a landslide. Trump might as well just take his name off the ballot. He's going to lose by 80 points. No one likes Trump. And it was right, even with the creative jelly bean counting that took place. It was, margin of error election. This happens every single time. Public polling right now in this stage of an election season is about manipulating public opinion, and then they magically start getting it right 3 weeks away from the election.
Yeah. Isn't that strange? All of a sudden, some of the polls are inching up on the Democratic side now.
But the problem is, these idiot Republicans believe this crap, and they'll start making decisions based on, clearly the mothers in Zionsville that just lust for sucking brains out of defenseless fetuses. We can't risk losing the mothers in Zionsville. Never mind the 50 years of promises we made. The moms in Zionsville are really mad.
It's Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC, and you had mentioned that Governor Holcomb has released a statement.
Yes.
Is this regarding Senate Bill 2?
Yes, this is the plan to give you as little of your money back as possible. Now, Casey, let's role play again for a second, shall we? I know you've always wanted to do some role playing with me.
My favorite things to do.
I will be the bandit who broke into your house.
Okay.
And you will be the victim of the burglary. Okay. And the ring, ring, ring will be the telephone. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Are you ready?
Go for it.
Ring, ring, ring.
Hello.
Hi, is this Casey?
Yes.
Hi, Casey. I'm the person who stole $1,500 that you may notice is now missing.
Yes, I feel very violated by you. I haven't gotten over it, and I'm really kind of upset.
Well, and you probably should be, because I had no right to take that money, because I'm not using it for anything. It's literally just sitting on my dresser drawer at home. In fact, I'm looking at the $1,500 bill stacked up right here. I don't need it to pay my rent. I don't need it to buy food. I'm not supporting my children with it. I'm not even buying luxury items with it. I have no actual use for this money.
That's weird, because I need it. And in fact, I had to get another expense to go buy a Ring doorbell camera just to find out who you were.
That's right.
Or to make sure it never happens again.
Well, look, Casey, I have a proposition for you, because I realize you're very upset that I stole these $1,100 bills from you that I have no use for.
That wasn't yours. It was mine.
Right,
it's my money.
Right. You earned it. I know, and I took it from you, and I have no use for it, and I realize you're very upset. But relax. I have a proposition for you.
Okay, you going to give me my $1,500 back? Because really, that's the only thing, and maybe some criminal punishment that's going to make me happy.
Well, just have an open mind here. Okay, here's what I'm thinking of this $1,500.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to keep $1,300 of it, and I'm still not going to have any use for it because I've paid all my bills, but I'm going to keep it because I like looking at it. And I'm going to give you, Casey, $200 of your money back, and we'll all part friends.
And this is where the dial tone would come in.
So that doesn't sound good to you?
No.
Huh? That's really weird because that's what the Republicans are voting to do right now.
$1 billion back to Hoosier taxpayers in the form of an automatic taxpayer refund.
So the Indiana General Assembly, the state government, is sitting on $1,500 of your money in overtaxation. They have gone around and around and around on this, and the best they could come up with is $200. These guys should go work on Pawn Stars. You know, where those guys, the guys who work at the Pawn Stars go, best I can do is, and then it's some lowball offer. This is who these guys are. They're our Indiana General Assembly and the governor are now the cast of Pawn Stars.
That was some very good acting on your part, by the way.
Thank you.
Do you want to read what the governor said?
This is what our governor had to say about stealing $1,500 of your money and giving you $200 back. Now, again, you can decide what you want to do with this fall. There's definitely ways you can send a message to these people about how irate you are about what they're doing. But here's what he thinks. I am extremely pleased to see the House Advanced Senate Bill 2 that includes returning $1 billion back to Hoosier taxpayers in the form of an automatic taxpayer refund. Now, sidebar here, of course, they haven't even given half the people back the refund that they were supposed to give back starting in April last year, but that's no beside the point. After all, this is the reason I called the General Assembly back into special session, and I'm grateful they have acted swiftly. It took them 31 days, Casey. Can you imagine? Doctor, I'm having a medical emergency. I need I'm having a heart attack. I need you to act swiftly. Best I can do is 31 days.
I got an opening in October.
They have acted swiftly and collaboratively to advance this much-needed bill to third reading in the House tomorrow. No less important. Now we get to the other part. No less important is the package of robust programming to strengthen the health outcomes for Hoosier women and babies. Oh, that's where he means the colossal tack on of government spending that actually dwarfs the money you're getting back. In this bill, they're actually spending more money that they stole from you than they're giving money back to you. Okay, did I interpret that? I think I interpreted that correctly.
You got it.
The contents of this current bill now reflect strong contributions from all corners of the General Assembly, and I look forward to signing it as soon as it arrives at my desk. I love this line. The contents of this bill now reflect strong contributions from all corners of the General Assembly. Oh, I was unaware that old Colonel Parker Bray was throwing his money in that was funding this. Jerry Torr was throwing his money in that was funding this. Jim Lucas was throwing his money in that was funding this. I thought this was our money. No thank you from the contribution from the taxpayers whose money it is that you're spending. What does this mean? The contents of this bill now reflect strong contributions from all corners of the General Assembly. What about contributions from the taxpayers whose money it is that you've stolen? Where's the thank you for us?
Thanks for the loan. We're going to get a portion of it back to you.
Man, I find a way to despise these people more every single day, and every single day I don't think that's possible.
We've got Jason Hammer coming in next. It's Friday, which means it's time for a weigh-in, and that's on the way from 93 WIBC.
Hammer and Nigel coming up, taking the show on the road today in Columbus. Thompson Furniture and Mattress, big patio party, lots of food, lots of beer, lots of prizes. All the fun starts at 3, 93 WIBC. Hey, Indiana, start the second half of the baseball season the right way and turn K's into cash and big hits into big wins with FanDuel Sportsbook. Right now, new customers get $150 in free bets. That's guaranteed when you place your first $5 bet. Just sign up with promo code WIBC to get in on the action. FanDuel lets you bet the money line, home run props, strikeout totals, and so much more. Plus, you can combine your bets for an even bigger payday with the same game parlay. If you haven't tried FanDuel, now is the perfect time to give it a shot. Just join up with promo code WIBC and turn a $5 bet into $150 in free bets Win or lose exclusively on the FanDuel Sportsbook app. Use my promo code WIBC. Must be 21 plus in Indiana. First online real money wager only. $10 first deposit required. Bonus issued is non-withdrawable free bets that expire 14 days after receipt. See full terms at FanDuel.com/sportsbook. Gambling problem, call 1-800-9-WITH-IT.
Smart homeowners know that proper maintenance of their home's AC can save a bundle in the long run. Trust our comfort specialists at 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning to keep your AC running strong. A proactive tune-up can actually help your AC run more efficiently and save you money on your electric bill. Call 855-1-HOUR or visit onehourair.com. We won't leave you waiting. Sing it with me.
Always on time or you don't pay time. Always on time or you don't pay time.
Independently owned and operated, licensed in their respective state or county.
Ever get those midday cravings, but you can't decide what to snack on? With over 6,000 fresh, healthy, irresistible snacks, Nuts.com has you covered. A family-run business since 1929, Nuts.com has provided the freshest, highest quality snacks and foods for almost 100 years. Don't be fooled by the name. We offer a wide variety of the most delicious dried fruits, sweets, trail mixes, and more. All our snacks are carefully sourced to ensure we're offering the freshest ingredients on the market. We get cream-of-the-crop top picks from America's best farmers, colossal-sized nuts, and fruit bursting with full flavor and ample nutrients. Our nuts are roasted daily, and we ship fast for ultimate freshness you can't get anywhere else. Right now, first-time customers can get free shipping on their orders. That's free shipping on your first order by visiting Nuts.com today. Don't wait to satisfy those cravings. Go to Nuts.com for the freshest, tastiest snacks you and your family will love.
At Cordell & Cordell, we focus on representing men in domestic relations cases.
Attorney CPA Joe Cordell.
We recognize that our clients are going through perhaps the toughest time they will ever go through. We understand that everything that's important to them is on the table. Their assets, the role in their children's lives, that's an immense responsibility that our clients entrust us with, and we take that very seriously. We've been trained to do that. We've helped thousands of clients before, and it's our hope that you'll choose to entrust us with what's most important to you.
The attorneys at Cordell & Cordell work to help men maximize their role in their children's lives, which includes protecting men's financial means to do so. Contact the domestic litigation firm of Cordell & Cordell to schedule an appointment with one of our firm's Indianapolis area attorneys, a partner men can count on. 317-322-0122. Online at CordellCordell.com. That's CordellCordell.com. Cordell & Cordell, 101 West Ohio Street, Suite 1100, Indianapolis, Indiana 46204.
Here's Terry Stacey to tell you what's going on with WIBC.
Join WIBC and the Home and Garden Show at the Indiana State Fair at the Pork Patio tomorrow from 9 to 1. Indiana pork producers will also be there with Pat Sullivan and Denny Smith, so you can enjoy the signature pork dish, Loaded Potatoes, which contains roasted potatoes, pulled pork, shredded cheese, sour cream, and jalapenos. There will also be a variety of other foods as well, so stop by and see us.
Grab more info online at WIBC.com.
Tune in Saturdays 9 to 1 for the Home and Garden Show for plenty of advice and fun. Brought to you by Michaelis. Water, storms, fire, and foundation, life happens. Michaelis happens to help you through it.
He's in charge of the bananas. Right in the slot, just past the click. I'm talking about Hammer from Hammer and Nigel Show.
What did you just say?
Can we slow that down and repeat that?
He's in charge of the bananas.
Uh-huh.
He's right in the slot, just past the click.
Click.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
You know, when you...
I heard a banana and click, and I just... I mean, I'm sure
I was hoping Kevin was on the dump button over there.
I'm sure you've tried that before, Hammer.
It's from Trailer Park Boys. It's Hammer from the Hammer and Nigel Show. You have to get on the scale, huh?
I do. And
Are you afraid? You take a minute?
Honestly, I think I'm in a good place here because I've had more time to go to the gym because now, with my kids being back to school, my oldest drives my youngest because this is the only year they're in school together. I got a freshman and I got a senior. So the oldest boy drives the youngest. So I get to get up in the morning, I'll make breakfast, and I'll get my big fat rear into the gym for a little bit.
Well, and I really, because you've lost so much weight, I've had to start getting my act together because you are getting so thin that I am worried that at some point you will get close to me, and I cannot have that. So I've had to get on this water kick and start eating right and cut out sweets. And
is that why you've been such an awful human being this past week. You haven't been your usual jovial self.
What show do you listen
been
to?
the normal, fun-loving Rob. You've been a little bit even more of an angry elf than you normally are. Yeah.
I just hate what these people are doing at the General Assembly. I mean, for the governor to come out and go, yeah, we stole $1,500 from you, but we're going to give you $200 of that back. And boy, what was that thing? I'd like to thank the contributions or whatever he said of the general. Like, it's our money. Like, these people are just so self-centered. They're so narcissistic. They're so arrogant. I just hate almost everything about these people.
Do you think, on the other big subject over there, before I weigh in, do you think they have the votes to change anything abortion related?
I think they'll get through largely what is passed now because I think they'll view it as horrendous to pass nothing. And I think these pro-life people who voted to protect basically all life yesterday will cave because they'll say, well, we got to get something, and they'll pat themselves on the back and say what a great job they did, and a whole bunch of babies will continue to be slaughtered in this state. There'll be a no criminal component to it, which won't prevent anybody from slaughtering the babies, and there'll be no enforcement mechanism when Ryan Mears laughs at it.
And no punishment for it.
And these guys will go run around with their friends and talk about how patriotic they are and all the good things they did.
That's exactly what I think, because I've heard from some couple different people reaching out to me that, well, our lobbyists say they've got the numbers. Our lobbyists say they've got the votes. My response was, they're lying to your lobbyists. There's a lot of these Republican guys that are going to say the right thing, but when it comes time to make that vote, they're going to cave like a house of cards.
Well, that's the thing, is they have the votes today. The pro-life movement, who voted to protect all life yesterday, has the votes that if they stand firm, just like they did in the Senate, to say, no, we're in charge here, and I guess, don't threaten me with a good time. It's Mel Gibson with the gun in the mouth on Lethal Weapon, to say, nope, we're not passing this today, and it'll die, and you can explain to the constituents why you didn't protect all life. But in the Senate, magically they needed 26 votes. They got 26 votes. Today, if those pro-life people stand firm, they can block this bill and stop it. My very good, usually accurate intuition is they will not. And you'll have a party that claimed to be pro-life now will be the party that says we're pro-life as long as you're conceived in the circumstances that fit our narrative.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. So that's why you've been so angry and bitter and just an unlikable a-hole.
These people they just always let everybody down. I mean, I
got to spend 3 hours with him every day.
They just never do what they promise to do. And I'm wondering, and I think this is going to be a great year for the two top ballot libertarians, Jeff Moore, the Libertarian Secretary of State candidate, and James Siniak, the U.S. Senate candidate. But ultimately, there will still be predominantly Republicans reelected in this state. And it's just exhausting that these people are continually allowed to get away with this crap.
They're going to put together a half-assed effort. They're going to lie to people, and then they're going to throw their shoulders up. Well, we tried.
We did the best we could.
Right.
Let's do something that'll make me feel better. Let's find out how fat you are.
Let's do that. So each week I weigh in on your show. I started off at a very disgusting 264.4 pounds. And last week I was 226.8.
I think you're down.
Wow.
I think you're down.
Each week, the goal is to tie or lose weight. And if I do that, I get a golf clap from the room here. But if I gain, I have to put $5 in a virtual pot to go to Rob Kendall so he can blow at the Brownsburg apple.
Yeah. How much is in that virtual pot?
$20.
$20
He's missed 4 times and used all 3 of his timeouts. And I have been pretty accurate on being able to look at you and see if you're skinnier than you were the week before. I say yes. Let's find out.
Here we go.
Hammer's getting up. He's not waddling anymore. He's more of a shuffle these days. Yeah. He's moved out of the waddle. Getting on the scale. Looking down. Wow, that's a lot.
Look at this guy.
You may have overlost this week.
222.2. We are down 4.2 pounds from last week.
Golf clap. Good job.
4.6 pounds, actually.
That's a lot. You overlost. It's like a guy who goes out and shoots 60 the first day of the golf tournament. You got to save a little for Saturday and Sunday. You got a big something coming up today, right?
Yeah, see, I went to the gym a bunch of days this week because I knew I was going to go down to Thompson Furniture and just embarrass myself this afternoon. We're doing our live show there, 3 to 7 in Columbus.
You'll
Thompson
be there.
Furniture.
They can meet you.
The whole show. We're going to eat. We're going to drink. We're going to do a lot of it. We're going to have a good time.
I like Spencer. He's
He's the sort of guy I need to be friends with. He looks like he's got a few bucks laying around. Tell him I said hi.
Free food and beer. Come on out. Let's go.
Thanks, Hammer. It's Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC. Good morning.
The Great Resignation is a new and demanding challenge for employers. Beyond recruiting and retaining talented employees, you must understand their changing needs for personalized, non-traditional employee benefits. If you approach and deliver your benefit program as you did a decade ago, Mago and Brabender can help. We are reimagining the employee benefit journey to meet this challenge. It's time to thrive, not just survive. Contact Mago and Brabender to learn more.
8 years ago, we started climbing mountains to raise dollars and awareness for children battling cancer. Over the years, we've summited some amazing peaks, raising hundreds of thousands of dollars for our partners. On August 13th, we head down to South America for our biggest climb yet. Chimborazo is over 20,000 feet tall, and we are climbing it to raise money for St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. Learn more about our climbs and make a donation today by visiting keepclimbingfoundation.org.
Denny Smith here for Sundown Gardens. Save big this first week of August. 30% off all nursery stock this week at Sundown Gardens. That means save 30% off container shrubs and trees. Bald and burlap stock also included at 30% off. Save big now and enjoy your new shrubs and trees in your yard this fall. Find out everything Sundown Gardens has going on by following them on Facebook and Instagram. 186th Street and Spring Mill Road, sundown.gardens.com. That's sundown.gardens.com.
Summer's in Indy, and since 2001, Rhino Shield has been covering Indiana homes and businesses. Just ask Mike.
I was watching TV one night and saw the Rhino Shield ad, and I thought, well, if they can do a house, they can probably do a building.
And Rhino Shield's not paint, it's better.
So they came out and they gave me a price, showed me how the Rhino works, how it lasts, and how the guarantee works.
Business owners, you too can get the 25-year protection of Rhino Shield right now for 10% off the regular price.
They started on the building. They waited for us to leave, and they worked Saturday and Sunday so they wouldn't affect our business at all. This was the great part of it. I came back Sunday night, and you couldn't even tell they were here. There was no paint on the ground. They did a fantastic job.
Here's owner Shane Smith.
This offer is limited, so call me at 888-RHINO-41. That's 888-RHINO-41.
Don't paint.
Don't vinyl. Go Rhino.
Don't vinyl. Go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
Puccini's Pizza, Pasta, Puccini's. 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 Puccini's Pizza, Pasta, Puccini's.
Furniture Installers of Indiana can handle your office furniture needs no matter how large or how small. They've been doing it for over 30 years. Bring professional furniture solutions to your home or commercial office space. Learn more at FurnitureInstallers.us.
It's the perfect time to focus on those things you can control. You can choose to design your retirement. Brian Singer can help you do that. Visit SingerFinancialGroup.com.
Coming up in 2 minutes, one bill is passed in the state legislature, still waiting on the other one. Plus, we've gotten lots of rain lately, how that's been helping drought-like conditions, and how long a 19-year-old woman will be spending in prison. That and more coming up from the Shepherd Community Center studios. You're listening to 93 WIBC, WIBC HD1, Indianapolis. It's 11 o'clock.
Significant progress. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. That is the reaction this morning from the White House to a much better than expected report on hiring.
Employers added 528,000 jobs last month, which restores all the jobs lost during the COVID recession. It's also twice as many as were expected. President Biden celebrated the report, saying in a statement, quote, "Today, the unemployment rate matches the lowest it's been in more than 50 years, 3.5%. He says more people are working than at any point point in American history.
Fox's Tanya J. Powers. The White House has summoned China's ambassador for talks over the Chinese reaction to House Speaker Nancy Pelosi's visit to Taiwan, an island nation that China claims to own. It has cut off dialogue with the U.S. now on issues like climate change, in addition to playing war games.
Taiwan Air Force jets scrambled as 68 Chinese warplanes, 13 warships crossed the median line in the strait separating China and Taiwan in the direction of the island. That strait not just a key buffer zone for Taiwan, but a busy waterway for global trade.
Fox's Greg Palcott. A flare-up in the Middle East. Palestinian officials claim Israeli airstrikes hit Gaza today, killing at least 7 people, including a child and a senior militant group commander. 2 of the 4 people struck by lightning last night outside the White House died this morning. A couple in their 70s from Wisconsin, another man and woman were critically injured. In Los Angeles, a woman in critical condition could face charges the day after police say she sped through a red light, causing a fiery multi-car crash.
One eyewitness tells Fox he was just 2 or 3 cars behind the impact and feels fortunate to be alive this morning, saying he saw victims screaming and fighting to get out of burning cars. That man and other eyewitnesses say a baby also flew from the middle of the intersection, landing in a gas station.
Fox's Matt Finn says that baby was one of 6 people killed, 8 injured. America's listening to Fox News.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
1 down, 1 to go. Mostly cloudy, 79 downtown. I'm Kurt Darling. Here's what's trending at 11:02. The Indiana House has passed a package for inflation relief. It includes a $200 rebate for each Hoosier and a suspension of certain taxes for the time being. The vote was 93-6 in favor of it. The bill will be sent back to the state Senate for final approval later today. House lawmakers are now discussing the abortion ban.
Senate Bill 1 reflects an understanding that this is one of the most difficult and contentious issues of our lifetime.
State Rep Wendy McNamara speaking in favor of the ban. As it stands now, the bill would ban abortion completely, except in cases of rape or incest up to 10 weeks of pregnancy. It also allows it in cases of danger to the mother and fatal birth defects. A final vote expected to happen soon. There are less drought-like conditions in Indiana than there were a few weeks ago. The latest U.S. Drought Monitor shows that a little under a third of the state is abnormally dry and 11% of the state is in moderate drought. Places west of Indianapolis and near Lafayette are under a moderate drought as well. More rain is expected today and at times through the weekend across Indiana. He got plenty of chances. Chris Davis reports Damon Elliott, of Indianapolis, squandered them all and ended up in the federal pen.
A dealer for at least a decade, Elliott apparently couldn't give that up, even after having been convicted of being a serious violent felon with a firearm. When his parole officers did a home visit, the home that he had them come to was not his home. He had given them a fake address. In his real house, they found drugs and guns, and he pleaded guilty and got nearly 5 years. Chris Davis, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
Nearly 5 years in prison for a woman caught with $500,000 worth of fentanyl-laced pills in Fort Wayne. Madison McCoy was pulled over on the interstate there for failing to signal for a lane change. Police were suspicious, so they searched her car and found the pills hidden in the floorboards. I'm Kurt Darling, on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
There's a reason Comcast Business powers more businesses than any other provider. Actually, there's a few. Comcast Business offers the fastest, reliable network, the peace of mind that comes with Security Edge, helping to protect all your connected devices, and the most reliable 5G mobile network. Want me to keep going? I can. Whether your small business is starting or growing, you need Comcast Business. Technology solutions that put you ahead and give you serious savings. Comcast Business, powering possibilities.
Get internet and security for just $60 a month when you add mobile and save $480 your first year. Plus, ask how to get a $500 prepaid card with a qualifying gig bundle. Limited time offer, restrictions apply. Requires EcoBill and AutoPay. New Comcast Business 250 megabits per second internet and Security Edge customers only. 2-year agreement required. Equipment installation, taxes, and other fees extra and subject to change. Must add mobile within 90 days of internet install and keep all services for 12 months to receive discount. Comcast Business Mobile utilizes the network with the most Root Metrics 5G data reliability wins in 2H 2021. Results may vary. Award is not an endorsement.
You're listening to Rob Kendall.
The Republican Party in Indiana sees zero problem in record spending, in record taxation.
And Casey Daniels.
You went out there and said, please vote for me. You debated other people on why you're the better person for the position. Suck it up.
This is the Kendall and Casey Show on 93 WIBC.
Good morning. It's Friday, August 5th, and things that are trending this hour. Hashtag International Beer Day. The first Friday of every August is celebrated as International Beer Day. Also trending, the Great Barrier Reef. Parts of it are showing the highest coral cover they've seen in 36 years.
The highest what?
Coral.
Oh.
You know, in the ocean, the coral.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the most that it's been in nearly 4 decades. Also trending, dum-dum suckers. Apparently, rogue sellers are buying dum-dum suckers in bulk at Sam's Club and then reselling them at a markup online. It's Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC, 6 minutes after 11, and President Biden's job approval on a series of categories, including jobs and the economy, significantly lower than what Donald Trump's ratings were when he left office.
Okay, so this is the question that I have as I read through this story, which is, again, we are starting to believe that, according to the pollsters, that, oh my gosh, America's falling in love with the Democrat Party again. They love the record inflation and the supply chain issues and love what happened in Afghanistan, and they love just everything that Democrats are doing. America is having a renaissance with the Democrat Party and their affiliation. But yet, every poll after poll after poll after poll shows people hate Biden. Mm-hmm. And so how is it, Casey, that on one hand we are led to believe that, now this is just in the congressional election, you know, in the House and the Senate, people are falling in love with the Democrats all over again. And yet, not only are they just unhappy with Biden, they hate the guy. Mm-hmm. How these two things do not collide together, right? Because the president in the party of power, so goes the president. Normally, so goes the party. Mm-hmm. So what am I missing here?
So we're saying that we want Democrats in Congress, but not in the White House.
But yet, we were told 81 million legal votes were cast for Joe Biden. So it's amazing how that it always seems to work out in the Democrat Party's favor. And this poll, which was done by Harvard-Harris, reveals that Biden on almost every core issue is lower than where Trump was when he left office.
So Biden's overall approval rating right now is at 38%. It's been a year since he's had a rating above 50. And they break it down into different categories, even this Harvard-Harris poll did. So, for example, jobs. Trump had a 58% approval rating. Biden right now, 41%. Terrorism. Trump was at 55%. Biden currently, 41%. Mm-hmm.
So terrorism, jobs, Trump was over 50%. Mm-hmm. And that's really interesting because immigration, Trump 52, Biden now 39. Foreign affairs, Trump 52, Biden 39. Administering the government, Trump 49, Biden 41. So let's read the Trump again. And this again, I'm not saying that, anything untoward happened in November of 2020, because I am certain that it was just a giant coincidence that in all the swing states, in the major metropolitan city of those swing states, magically votes were found and overnight new votes were tabulated. I'm sure that is all a giant coincidence.
Nobody would lie to you.
I'm sure the jelly bean counting was all above board. But when I'm looking at in terrorism, Trump over 50%, immigration, Trump over 50%, foreign affairs, Trump over 50%, administering the government, Trump right at 50%, jobs, Trump way over 50%. All of these categories by which you would judge a president, Trump was at or above 50%. So who are those people that were so angry that they went out and in record numbers voted for Joe Biden? If Trump was over 50% in all of these categories, or at 50% in all these categories, who were the people that were so offended? I realize I'm a terrible person, and I'll probably be now charged with some sort of crime against the Capitol and a part of the next round of January 6th hearings because I'm daring to question this. But if the president was over 50% in all of these categories, who are the record amounts of people who are apparently so outraged they went and voted for Joe Biden, who have now all turned against Joe Biden, but yet still love the Democrats and want to keep them in Congress?
Yeah, they all are turning against Joe Biden, except for his son, who needs him now more than ever. We mentioned we were going to talk about Hunter, and here it is. At the Senate Judiciary Committee hearing, Senator Marsha Blackburn grilled the FBI director about him. And the interesting thing about that back and forth was he went to answer some of the questions and then cut it short because he claimed he needed to get on a flight.
Of the FBI.
But then the FBI director said, Senator, I got to go. I got to catch a flight. But then Chuck Grassley, who's 1,000 years old from Iowa, noted that the FBI director wasn't flying commercial and could leave at any time he wanted. So please call the pilot and let him know you'll be here longer.
Could you imagine?
Which he didn't do. He left anyway.
Your job, you're the head of the FBI, and one of the major parts of your job is you report to the government, in this case, the House and Senate, who fund your giant bureaucracy. And in the middle of it, can you...
I got to go. I got a thing.
This would be the equivalent of when the new ownership, I am sure at some point, unless we are just promptly shown the door without them even talking to us, which also a possibility.
Don't talk that way.
We will meet with the new ownership of this fabulous radio station. Can you imagine one of us in the middle of that? Yeah, can you guys hurry it up? I got to catch a flight.
Well, it's going to be like, so will our compensation be the same? Is that changing? Yeah, we got to go. Wait a minute.
But this is interesting. So Marsha Blackburn, who is a senator from Mississippi. Tennessee. I'm sorry. I was distracted because now the porn spam is going out of the YouTube chat. Now it's Bitcoin. So we've downgraded.
I'm sure there's a note in there also that someone said fire Kevin.
Very distractive.
They know it's Kevin's job to block that stuff.
Anyway, Marsha Blackburn, who is a senator from Tennessee, was grilling Christopher Wray, who's the head of the FBI, on this idea of the Hunter Biden. You know, everybody said it was misinformation. I guess it turns out it wasn't. What do we have on the president's son, who is allegedly involved in super shady business dealings with foreign entities that may or may not have involved the president? Can we get a little update on that? And he said, I don't know.
He said, I got to get on a flight.
Take a listen to this.
Do you agree that the Hunter Biden laptop was not Russia disinformation?
Now you're asking about an ongoing investigation that I expect our folks to pursue aggressively, and I can't comment on that.
Okay, and you possess the laptop, right?
Again, I can't discuss that in an ongoing investigation.
And when do we expect to hear from General Durham with his report?
That's really a question for Special Counsel Durham. We are actively assisting him in that investigation.
Okay.
So it's an ongoing investigation. We got that out of it. They are investigating him.
Yes, so you cannot say now that it's made up, that it's fake news, that it's Russia collusion, that it's MAGA world gone on steroids. I mean, that is the one thing you did get out of this, is that everything we were told by the mainstream national media, who was working as an arm of the Democrat Party in 2020 to participate in the cover-up of what a skeezy, underhanded, sleazy dirtball Hunter Biden is, and how that loser kid invoked his daddy to get stuff, and his daddy was probably involved in the process, and they sold and gave away who knows what, is now really under investigation. So I'm sorry, probably not going to cut it from the mainstream national media now.
Hunter Biden recently cut the IRS a check for $2 million in acknowledgement that he failed to pay previous taxes. And this ongoing investigation is being run out of the Baltimore office. They're working with the Delaware U.S. attorney, who is a holdover from the Trump administration. But experts are saying that this ongoing investigation with Hunter Biden could really play an active role if Biden runs in 2024.
Sure, right.
He doesn't want to run away from it, or does he? It's Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC. And coming up next, Rob discusses why he should have been an attorney. That's on the way. From 93 WIBC.
The WIBC app.
I love it. I do. I love it.
One of the most profound inventions of the modern era. Ta-da! Keeping you informed and up to date from the convenience of your phone.
Here's what's trending.
Donnie Burgess, 93.
The conflict between Russia and Ukraine.
Gas prices have been falling.
I'm Matt Bear with traffic on the 5.
I'm John Herrick.
The WIBC app.
Download the app
so that you know what's going on in the world.
In the App Store or online. Ta-da! At 93 WIBC.
Feeling offbeat? Franciscan Health's nationally recognized heart team can help keep the beat of your heart steady. If you've been diagnosed with atrial fibrillation or an irregular heartbeat, Franciscan's personalized approach to heart care can help you reduce your risk of stroke, heart failure, and other complications from AFib. So tune in, because the tempo of your heart matters. Find your heart's rhythm again by scheduling an appointment at franciscanhealth.org/restore the rhythm. That's franciscanhealth.org/restore the rhythm.
At Family Dollar, we've got more of what you want for back to school, back to the office, and back to all your fall activities. You'll find more of what you need in every store. Kickstart everyone's day the right way with General Mills, Post, and Kellogg's cereals 4 for $6 with smart coupons. And help the entire family fall back into fashion with our huge selection of stylish apparel and footwear at great value. Buy one, get one free. Family Dollar, helping you do more.
Every search you make, every click you take, they'll be watching you.
Are you tired of being tracked online? There's a simple solution. DuckDuckGo. It's an all-in-one privacy app with a built-in private search engine, web browser, one-click data clearing, email protection, and more, all for free. Download the app today and get the most comprehensive privacy protection with the push of a button. DuckDuckGo. Privacy simplified.
The roar of our engines, the pump of our heartbeats, the pedal to our metal, the sparks that ignite us, the pistons that push us, the passions that drive us. From the feelings that move us to the places that pull us on the roads that unite us. With nearly 6,000 stores and over 17,000 auto care centers, Napa has America's largest network of parts and care, here to keep you firing on all cylinders.
Singer Financial can show you how retirement could support the life you want to live. Are you ready? Go to singerfinancialgroup.com to learn more.
You're listening to Rob Kendall.
He's a criminal, that's who he is. A vigilante, a public menace.
And Casey Daniels.
Wow, she's an angel.
On 93 WIBC.
NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell has chosen former New Jersey Attorney General Peter Harvey to hear the appeal of the 6-game suspension for Cleveland Browns quarterback Deshaun Watson. NFL is actually looking for a tougher penalty under the league's personal conduct policy.
I should have been an attorney, Casey. And look, I freely...
You probably would have been very good because you like to argue.
Well, I would have. People said that for a long time. The problem is I was totally uncurious and unmotivated as a student.
Mm-hmm.
Now, it does speak to the brilliance that actually regularly happens between my ears on the fact that despite having zero interest in school, I was on the dean's list multiple times in college and received a college diploma. Very, very proud of that. Despite putting no effort in, I was able to be amongst the top of my peers.
I don't think being humble is a criteria for being a lawyer. So you would have.
I would have been great, but I think
one.
being a good lawyer. Now I said good. Now being a lawyer like Todd Rokita is a lawyer is different than being a good lawyer. But being a good lawyer requires a lot of work. You really got to learn the law. You got to learn about arguments, things you can't get. I just didn't have the effort to motivation to do that. I was going to be rich being a broadcaster, Casey.
Of course.
Well,
that's
clearly,
turned out really well for you.
Yes, I am. I have achieved all of my dreams in life. But I should have been an attorney because throughout this whole Deshaun Watson fiasco, right?
Mm-hmm.
And regardless of whether you think he should be fined, shouldn't be fined, suspended, shouldn't be suspended, this whole thing has been an embarrassment and it's just been a disaster. But you know who has made out at every single turn? The attorney.
Mm-hmm.
Like, think about this. The attorney for the women. Mm-hmm. He's not running a soup kitchen.
Okay, so let me just back up. Watson's been accused of sexual assault and other inappropriate conduct during massage sessions. civil lawsuits filed by 25 different women.
Yes.
So when you say the attorney of the women, you mean
Right.
the women.
Correct.
Lots of attorneys.
But I think the same guy
Is representing all of them?
Busby for most of them. I think with Tony Busby, I think was the guy's name. He's not running a soup kitchen. I'm assuming he got paid. Rusty Hardin was Deshaun Watson's attorney, one of the most high-profile attorneys in the entire country. Again, not working for charity, not raising money for the Salvation Army off of this that I'm aware of. He got paid. Then we get to the trial phase. So there were attorneys for the state that had to look into the alleged criminal complaint. They were getting paid. Now, they didn't get paid by the work if you're working for the state, but they still got paid. Then you have the civil phase of this, in which the NFL Players Association had to present a case for Deshaun Watson. They backed him up. They got paid. The league had attorneys that presented why he should be suspended for, I think they wanted a year and an $8 million fine. They got paid. The person who heard the case, I don't think is working gratis. They got paid. That was a former judge, so that's a person with a law license, likely. They got paid. Now there's a former attorney general who has a law license to hear this case. Again, assuming they're not, working for a donation to Goodwill, they're getting paid. Everyone's getting paid in this and making a bunch of money off of this. I should have been an attorney.
You're right. The Attorney General Harvey is getting paid, and there's no timeline on when he will hear the appeal. According to their conduct policy, it must be done on an expedited process.
I think about this the older I get, how I wish, what is the old saying? Youth is wasted on the young. And I wish at some point someone as a young man could have grabbed me. And by young man, I'm saying late teenage years, maybe even into my early 20s, grabbed me and said, you have so much potential and you will waste it on a life of poverty by securing a career in broadcasting.
You are the acorn to become the oak. You have a special skill, a special talent. Let's focus it in the right direction.
Because I got into broadcasting originally to impress girls. And that worked for a while, but then there reaches a certain point, Casey, where women like stability. They like the idea of having the rent paid. They like the idea of being able to go to a restaurant not named Wendy's or McDonald's. And so while, yes, in the beginning it was a strong maneuver and that worked out very well for me, over time, I should have been, somebody should have grabbed me and said, you have all these mental abilities. You have all this mental power. You're a good student when you apply yourself.
Channel those down
Let's
the
put
right
it into
avenue.
some sort of applicable skill set that will make you a large sum of money. And so you don't sit here worrying every time the radio station gets sold. You have a job.
You are correct. Females' top concerns consistently tend to be safety and security.
By that, you mean money. Money. I believe the word you're looking for is money.
Yeah, that's one way of putting it. It's Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC. Let's talk about this thing that came from the Secretary of State, the Indiana Election Commission, the Voting System Technical Oversight Program. Do you have this?
Yes, about the challenge by the Libertarian Party. Yes, this is phenomenal. So every year, and Jeff Moore talked about this, who's the Libertarian nominee for Secretary of State, when he was with us last time.
Right, I remember him talking about
this. This is great. This is absolutely phenomenal. So every election cycle, the Secretary of State tends to put out a thing saying, oh, the elections were all wonderful and
They
phenomenal.
do an audit.
Yes, they do an audit, and magically the audit always seems to check out. But yet there is no information that gets provided on really who was audited, how was the audit done, how was it conducted. Nobody gets to see the audit in question. We're just told by the Republicans, we were great.
We did it.
Take our word for it. And so the Libertarian Party is requesting, they filed an open records request to say, we are demanding to see this information that you regularly go and brag about, but show no proof of. And so we want the information in order to learn how our elections are done, further learn how our election's done, learn more importantly how this audit's done, and what does this audit actually say? Who's being audited, how, and what are you basing on when you say, well, it was a 90% plus, surety or what, 90% accurate, and we want to know that information. And I think this is great. And I think it really speaks volumes that it wasn't Republicans who are demanding to know How do you vouch for this election security? It was the Libertarian Party stepping up and putting the effort in.
So doesn't the law say that they have to get it within 90%?
Yes.
And the audit takes place after the election is certified?
This is the other part of this. The audits always take place after the certification of the election.
So it's like we're saying, okay, we vote. Yes, we're certifying it. This is what happened. Now let's go do an audit and check. I'm telling you, I closed the garage door. Let me go look and make sure I closed the garage door.
I think this is great. I think it's another example of the Libertarian Party in Indiana telling the people, look, we are a viable third party. We want you to take us serious, and we are willing to do the work and the heavy lifting that the Republican Party, the Democrat Party will not do. And I applaud them for this, and I hope they'll get answers on it, because this will be fascinating to know exactly how this process is done.
They said we aren't calling into question the election results, but we believe that Hoosiers have a right to know that their votes are counted correctly and our election system is safe. It's Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC.
Definitely the only real estate agent I'd call to sell my house is Mark Deedle, and here's why. Check out Adam and Karen in Indianapolis. They had a growing family. They needed more space. This happens to a lot of people. They needed a bigger place, but they had to sell their old house for top dollar to afford it. Now, Mark Deedle was the right guy for this job. He got him multiple offers in days and sold for $17,000 over asking price.
There's only one agent that we recommend, that we trust here on the Hammer and Nigel show, and it's Mark Deedle. Because Mark Deedle has the guarantee in place. Mark Deedle guarantees multiple offers in 3 days at full market value, or he will list it for free. Think about that. Contact Mark Deedle today. Pick up the phone, 317-755-4232. That's 755-4232. Or go online to markdeedle.com. That's Mark, D-I-E-T-E-L, markdeedle.com. Tell them Hammer and Nigel sent you.
Ever get those midday cravings, but you can't decide what to snack on? With over 6,000 fresh, healthy, irresistible snacks, Nuts.com has you covered. A family-run business since 1929, Nuts.com has provided the freshest, highest quality snacks and foods for almost 100 years. Don't be fooled by the name. We offer a wide variety of the most delicious dried fruits, sweets, trail mixes, and more. All our snacks are carefully sourced to ensure we're offering the freshest ingredients on the market. We get cream-of-the-crop top picks from America's best farmers, colossal-sized nuts and fruit bursting with full flavor and ample nutrients. Our nuts are roasted daily, and we ship fast for ultimate freshness you can't get anywhere else. Right now, first-time customers can get free shipping on their orders. That's free shipping on your first order by visiting Nuts.com today. Don't wait to satisfy those cravings. Go to Nuts.com for the freshest, tastiest snacks you and your family will love.
Imagine if McDonald's was always within reach. Chicken McNuggets, golden crispy fries, all in the palm of your hand. With the McDonald's app, you don't have to imagine. Exclusive deals on all your delicious favorites are just a tap away.
Did someone say free fries? Download the McDonald's app and get a large order of fries on us. Valid one time only through the last day of the month for first-time app users at participating McDonald's. May take up to 48 hours to appear in deals. Download and registration required.
Staying connected is important in today's world. Whether it's hearing the news of a new baby in the family or calling work to let your boss know you're running late, phone service keeps you connected with your world. At AT&T, we know that some Americans face life every day without the comfort and security of having phone service. In certain areas, you may be able to reduce your phone bill with a Lifeline discount if you are in a qualifying low-income household. Additional discounts of up to $25 may be available to those living on federally recognized tribal lands where AT&T offers Lifeline. To find out more about Lifeline and other AT&T products and services, call us at 800-288-2020 or go to att.com/lifeline if you have access to the internet.
Lifeline is a government benefit program, and willfully making false statements to obtain this benefit is punishable by fine or imprisonment and could result in termination of Lifeline service. Lifeline enrollment requires certain eligibility documentation and is non-transferable. Limited to one discount per household. AT&T services, including Lifeline, are not available in all areas. Other restrictions apply.
Hammer and Nigel here. Join us at Thompson Furniture in Columbus this Friday, 3 o'clock. Come by for your chance to win a Stearns & Foster mattress, a Lazy Boy recliner, Yeti gear, all for coming by to see us.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
Still debating abortion. I'm Kurt Darling. Here's what's trending at 11:30. Chants in the hallway at the Indiana State House as the House prepared this morning to vote on the Senate's abortion ban bill.
If you're in this chamber and you feel need to respond to a speech, I would suggest that you move into the hallway.
Indiana House members still speaking before the final vote. Earlier this morning, lawmakers passed the inflation relief bill. It includes a $200 rebate for each Hoosier. The U.S. unemployment rate fell to 3.5% in July, down from 3.6% in June, and the lowest since February 2020. The economy added an estimated 528,000 jobs, well above market forecasts of 250,000 added in June. The numbers were boosted by the hospitality and food service industries. I'm Kurt Darling, on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
You're listening to the Kendall and Casey Show on 93 WIBC.
Walmart has begun to lay off corporate employees. This is a week after they slashed their profit outlook and warned that consumers had pulled back on discretionary spending due to inflation. Well, you think? According to the CPI, the cost of food at home, groceries rose 12% in June compared to a year ago. So the retail giant described the layoffs as a way to better position the company for a strong future.
We talked about this before, but we have to give Biden credit from the standpoint of...
We do?
Well, do you know how bad the economy has to be to hit Walmart?
Yeah. They are the bellwether.
Like, there's no reason Walmart should ever feel pain in the history of ever. Which, by the way, I went to Target yesterday.
Yeah.
And I don't normally shop at Target.
You were out and about. You went to lunch. You went shopping.
I did. I was a man about town. I don't leave the greater Hendricks County area, but I was a man about town in the greater Hendricks County area.
I'm guessing you were forced into both of those. But go ahead.
Not the lunch. Okay. I was forced into the shopping, but I did not. And normally I shop at the Walmart. Mm-hmm. And I was surprised at how noticeably more expensive. Now, I gather Target, at least that's what I'm told. I don't know. I just do what I'm told. But I guess Target has nicer, like, meats, things of that nature than a Walmart does. But I was aware and complaining and promptly told to stop complaining that other things were more expensive at the Target than the Walmart. Not the meat type stuff, but the other things that you buy. And I paid more for the groceries at the Target than I did the Walmart, which is a reminder of why I shop at the Walmart.
I feel a lot of the dry good products are more expensive at Target.
And I also don't like I know with the Walmart products what Walmart brand stuff that I like. Now, again, if it's Walmart, I don't even know what they make it. Walmart brand meat, probably not doing that. But is it like the Walmart version of Cheez-Its or potato chips? Not that I eat potato chips a lot right now, but I am okay with those because I know another example, hot sauce. Hot sauce is really expensive. Like if you get the Frank's Red Hot, the Walmart brand, super inexpensive. No difference. With this Target stuff, it's like, well, I like this. Is it the same? Now, once I bought it, I must.
So you bought the off-brand hot sauce?
Well, I'd already bought it, but I'm saying like these are things that I'm sitting there looking at, the equivalent of that I'm looking at going, I don't know if I'm going to like this. I really feel like I'm risking a lot making these purchases here. So I guess there's only one way to find out.
Walmart is the largest employer in the country. They have nearly 1.6 million workers, and they say that shoppers are changing. Customers are changing, and they're doing some restructuring to make sure that they're more aligned with the way shoppers are shopping.
What does that mean, shoppers are changing? Like you go to the grocery store, you buy the food. What does that mean, shoppers are changing?
Well, they're spending more on necessities like groceries and fuel, and they're skipping the high-margin merchandise.
What high-margin merchandise is at Walmart?
Apparel. And Kevin just went to Target the other day and bought some clothes.
Oh, you did?
So would you say that the Target clothes are more expensive than the Walmart clothes?
I haven't been to Walmart in a while, but
Kevin would not lower himself.
I think I got a pair of shorts they cost about $30
at Target.
Wait, what? For a pair of shorts?
About 25 to 30, I think.
And that's what Walmart is saying, that most people aren't buying that extra pair of shorts. Or maybe they're not extra. Maybe he just needed shorts. But instead of buying the shorts, using all the money for food.
Yeah.
In the off-brand
I think
stuff
the
like
only new clothes I've purchased this year.
Well, why do you need to buy new clothes? You just found that shirt
I know,
in your
that's what I'm saying.
dresser that's been there for 3 years.
I think next week, I will wear only things that I have not worn in 2 years or more. I think maybe that'll be my plan next week.
Or you could adopt my style, which is just have 5 or 6 outfits and put them on repeat.
Yeah, it's like
Steve Jobs.
Yeah.
Same outfit. It's a uniform. It makes your life easy.
You remember Ernest? Remember the movie, or like Ernest Goes to Camp? Jim Varney played a character named Ernest. Kevin, are you old enough to know Ernest?
I'm familiar.
And so Jim Varney played this character named Ernest. Know what I mean, Vern?
Yeah.
And he would be in all these movies. There was one where he runs a camp, and they're Disney movies. They're kids' movies where he's this lovable goof character that gets in all these crazy situations. One time they went into Ernest's closet in one of the movies.
Same thing.
And everything was the same. It was the denim vest, the jeans with the light T-shirt under it. Every outfit was put together exactly the same.
Same way. Gets boring, but it sure does shorten the dressing process in the morning.
I think that's what I will do next week. Is I will wear clothes that, by my own calculations, I have not worn in 2 years or more.
Okay. And
see how I like them. Because I guess I was worried this shirt may not fit, but now that I've lost some weight, it fits just fine. So
I like it.
Yeah, it's
I complimented you right away this morning. So that's a new shirt.
Yeah.
No, it's an old shirt that just got lost in the bottom of the dresser. Let's move on to Nikki Fried. This is the woman who's running for governor against Ron DeSantis in Florida, and she held a virtual press conference. It was an event.
Yes.
She was doing a Zoom type meeting with health experts.
Yes.
Right.
She's like she's the one statewide elected Democrat in Florida. I think she's the ag commissioner. That's what stands out for some reason. And she is running in the primary against Charlie Crist, who has run for like 9,000 offices in his political career in Florida. He was the former governor as a Republican, then ran for U.S. Senate, lost against Rubio, got mad, switched to being a Democrat, and now has run for a whole bunch of other offices, and he's running for governor again. So she had this event, Nikki Fried, and I love this because this is just great. She goes to the end of the...
It's great because it's so awful.
Yeah, well, this is the self-absorption of these people that you would think, like, she goes to this whole event, and she gets to the end, and they go, okay, media, we'd like to offer you the opportunity to ask questions. And there was no media there. Listen.
We'll go ahead and open up for any questions from the media, that is here today. And maybe if there's any other questions too or anything else you want to add when they're answering the questions, feel free to also.
Journalists, if you have questions, please type them into the chat box at this time.
That's how you do it, share, like.
We'll give it just a minute.
Bueller.
Yeah, okay, you get the idea. There was nothing.
Okay, seeing no questions.
That's like, no questions. Nobody was there.
Yeah.
Nobody showed up.
Okay, and that's how you know your campaign is going very well when there are no questions.
Yeah. Here's another story,
Hey,
John.
by the way, can I just complain about one thing before we get off?
I doubt it's going to be one thing.
No, it's real quick.
Go ahead.
It made me think, because in the YouTube chat, which, by the way, hello to everybody watching us in the YouTube chat, somebody is put a question about shopping at small grocery stores. And it reminded me that in Brownsburg, so I think this is how it played out. The Kroger, notice I didn't put an S on the end of it. I did it properly.
Good for you.
Kroger, it's not Kroger's, but Kroger, built this brand new super Kroger on the north end of town. And that's great. Good for them. They moved out of one building and literally moved right down the street, same shopping center, built a new Kroger. But when Kroger bought Marsh several years ago, there was a Marsh in Brownsburg that went belly up, and that building is now empty. And it has been empty for years and years and years now. And as a result, that entire shopping center around that Marsh has gone belly up, and it looks horrific and atrocious. And I don't know what can be done about this. I mean, it makes sense strategically, like, okay, we've kind of got a monopoly on groceries in Brownsburg, other than, like, if you want to go to the big retailer, which it would be a Walmart, to shop. So we're just going to let the building sit empty. The problem is everything is being run down around that in the process. And I think this is happening other places.
Yeah.
And I don't know what can be done. I'm not pounding my fist going, you must do this tomorrow. But that shopping center looks like complete crap. There's weeds growing up in the road. The back part of the marsh has been vandalized. All the businesses that were in that shopping center, I think there's still like a Ben Franklin type store that is there, are going out of business. And you're losing an entire side of town because this building that was built as an anchor, it's not like,
gone.
It's not like, well, we went belly up and somebody else will move in and they'll try to make it work. It's just sitting empty. And so if the people that run my town could get off their ass and try to figure out how to make something happen out of that. Yeah. And by the way, the owners of that building, for letting it sit empty for your own greed, I can't say that. You're not very nice people. I mean, it just sucks that there's like a giant eyesore in the middle of the town.
Somebody needs to come in and redevelop the area.
Yeah, and apparently
somebody who knows something about government.
Just sitting
and running the city of Brownsburg.
But I don't know how you get the building out of the hands of the people who are just letting it sit empty for greed.
Let's talk about John Daly. He said that Donald Trump was the best president.
Yeah.
He joined Piers Morgan. What was this? Piers Morgan's podcast? Or?
Yeah, it was a video cast, but yeah, and so John Daly, very famous golfer, won 2 majors, very famous for hitting the ball a long way, also famous for his numerous
shenanigans,
personal shenanigans that have taken place.
Yeah,
was on with Piers Morgan, and I thought this was great. He talks about the hypocrisy of these PGA players and the PGA Tour judging these people who join this LIV tour funded by the Saudis. And I thought he made some phenomenal points about the PGA Tour and what they expect of the players and expecting them to do things for free, that the LIV is just like, nah, man, you showing up, you're getting paid. And there's 2 clips that I thought were really, really good. And of John Daly, of all people, making sense on something. Let's listen to the first clip.
We'll find out in the long run, but I begged Greg Norman to let me be on the LIV Tour because, you know, we work really hard, and I play with Brian Harman in the practice round and some other guys in the practice rounds of the British Open, and it's like we play Pro-Ams, we get it, okay? That's what is a backbone of a lot of our tournaments, but Brian Harman says, give us a box of chocolates for the effort. We make tent visits. We do this. We do that. I play 2 to 3 Pro-Ams every week on the Champions Tour. And, you know, we don't play for a lot of money on the Champions Tour. So I almost feel like, okay, I'm not getting a lot out of this. What are we doing? Look, I'd rather play with amateurs than the pros sometimes, but, you know, we've got to get compensated for that. And the LIV Tour has given players that. It's given, you know, they play Pro-Ams. It's a big party. They play for a lot of money, which these guys that are on that tour deserve that money. And I think there's a lot of other guys that deserve that money, especially this old man. But,
yeah, especially me. It's interesting that he said he asked to be on that, and they said no.
Yeah, Norman told him it was too old. But it does, and we're going to play another clip in a second. Think about in your life, like the PGA Tour mules these players out. You know, they want to be working on their games or doing other things, and you got to do A, B, and C in terms of playing with every week it's usually some guy you don't know, some corporate sponsor. It does distract you from doing your job. You know, when we go do remotes, we get paid to go somewhere. You're not going somewhere for free, and yet these guys are expected to. And it's like, now if you question that, you're a bad person. There's another clip of John Daly randomly making sense. Take a listen.
The morality issue, because I think, and I wrote this for the New York Post, there's a lot of hypocrisy about morality in sport. That a lot of the PGA sponsors, for example, do lots of business in the Middle East and so on. Do you think there's a lot of hypocrisy here?
Oh, Pierce, let's not talk about that. They don't want to be mentioning that because, you know, of all the labor laws and stuff. You know what I'm saying? It's unbelievable. The politics is so stupid in this. I could talk about Nike. I could talk about other companies that little 8 and 13-year-olds are building shoes for Nike. Okay, we don't want to get into that, right? You want to talk about labor laws? We're talking about golf. guys that are playing golf. It's an international sport. Jed, the Prince of Saudi Arabia, is a great guy. And he's given so much money to golfers that deserve it. Well, there's some that aren't deserving it because I should be on that tour.
Yeah, why aren't you on the tour? You'd be my first signing.
I know all the band. Well, Greg says he's not doing it anymore, and I'm too old. So, but
he went on to say that he thought Donald Trump was good because he always did what he promised to do, whereas Joe Biden does the opposite and is leaving the United States in shambles.
But he makes a great point, which is, and we talked about this before, Americo is the Saudi oil company. I may be mispronouncing that. Armaco. Yes, thank you. They're a major sponsor of the women's PGA Tour. They're all over the place. Nobody said a word before that. The PGA Tour has tried to leverage the fact that the Saudis do horrific, awful things to save themselves. They're not interested in it because they actually are concerned about who the Saudis are. They're interested because they're in big trouble. Same thing with the NBA. The NBA is in China, does business with China. All these shoe manufacturers do business, with these governments that have horrific efforts on human rights. Nobody bats an eye. Nobody says a word. But yet these golfers are being made to feel like horrific, awful people because they're doing the same thing that everybody else does.
I know we have to get to break. I wanted to do this really quick, though. As I was watching that clip of John Daly, I noticed he's got this long white beard now, and he was sitting down, and his tummy was kind of sticking out, and he looked like Santa Claus.
Yes, he does.
And it made me think, John Daly as Santa Claus. Imagine that. You know who it reminded me of? Dan Aykroyd in Trading Places when he was Santa Claus and got really drunk.
Randolph, Mortimer, come in here quickly. I finally caught him.
And speaking of Trading Spaces, just one step further. This is the only comedy movie that is going to teach you about commodities.
Now, what are commodities? Commodities are agricultural products like coffee that you had for breakfast, wheat, which is used to make bread, pork bellies, which is used to make bacon, which you might find in a bacon and lettuce and tomato sandwich. And then there are other commodities like frozen orange juice and gold. Though, of course, gold doesn't grow on trees like oranges.
No, it doesn't.
Clear so far? Yeah. Good, William.
It's Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC.
Hammer and Nigel coming up, taking the show on the road today in Columbus. Thompson Furniture and Mattress, big patio party, lots of food, lots of beer, lots of prizes. All the fun starts at 3, 93 WIBC.
Imagine if you could accomplish 3 things when you invest your money. 3 things. 1, get a 5, 10, or even a 35% bonus on your investment. 2, get a competitive return that'll beat what you get at the bank. And 3, sleep well knowing your money is protected by some of the top-rated insurance companies in the world. To learn more, call Bill Demery, your retirement guy. Call 317-349-5212. You'll benefit in 3 big ways. Get a 5, 10, or a 35% bonus on your investment. Earn a competitive return that'll beat the bank. And sleep well knowing your money is protected by some of the top-rated insurance companies. This offer won't last forever. So call 317-349-5212. 317-349-5212.
Garage door problems? Call today for service today. Garage Doors of Indianapolis has been solving garage door problems for 33 years. Call today for service today. 875-4577. Garage Doors of Indianapolis services all makes of garage doors 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Call today for service today. Get it fixed right now. Call Garage Doors of Indianapolis at 875-4577 or visit doorstoday.com.
In the morning, call 875-4577. Service today.
Identity theft continues to be the fastest growing criminal act well into its second decade. 1 out of every 3 people will lose their identity this year. Protect your identity with Quick Shred. Documents are shredded in full view at their retail location at 62nd and Binford. No matter how big or small, they shred it all. Commercial bin placement is also available. And now, QuickShred recycles electronics too. Visit QuickShredIndy.com. QuickShred is open Monday through Friday, 8 to 5, and Saturdays, 9 to 2. QuickShred.
My name is Kayla Sinders, and I work for Gleaners Food Bank. I am a local service manager for 3 counties in our 21-county service area, and I nominated Katie.
And I'm Jiffy Lube owner Steve Sanner. At Jiffy Lube, we are proud to support Hoosier charities that use their vehicles to do more to make Indiana a better place to live.
My name is Katie Wilkerson. I pick up at the mobile food pantries. The best part of volunteering to hand someone some food and see the smile on their face, the relief. Without my vehicle, there's no way I'd be able to do this. To go to any of the pantries, it's at least 18 miles.
Jiffy Lube of Indiana provides all of our Do More winners with free vehicle maintenance for a year. Because now at Jiffy Lube, our trained technicians do more to keep vehicles like theirs and yours on the road. Brakes, tires, batteries, and more, as well as Indiana's favorite oil change since 1985.
If you know a volunteer who impacts your community, nominate them today to receive a year's worth of free vehicle maintenance. Just click the Do More tab at JiffyLubeIndiana.com.
Hello, I'm Joe Cordell of the domestic litigation firm Cordell & Cordell. Here are a few quick divorce tips that we provide our clients. Number 1, don't move out of your house just because your wife tells you to. Remember, that's your house too. And number 2, don't blow through the financial statements that you file with the court. These are key exhibits, and they often make or break your case. And number 3, watch the social networking. Expect your wife's lawyer to do a thorough online search. And incidentally, this is a two-way street. Now, a bonus tip. Partner with your attorney in assembling evidence. You're one of the 2 leading experts on your life and marriage. Your attorney needs your input to achieve your goals. And finally, talk to your attorney before taking action. Good luck.
Contact the domestic litigation firm of Cordell & Cordell to schedule an appointment with one of our firm's Indianapolis area attorneys, a partner men can count on. Online at CordellCordell.com. That's CordellCordell.com. Cordell & Cordell, 101 West Ohio Street, Suite 1100, Indianapolis, Indiana, 46204.
Here's Terry Stacey to tell you what's going on with WIBC.
Join WIBC and the Home and Garden Show at the Indiana State Fair at the Pork Patio tomorrow from 9 to 1. Indiana pork producers will also be there with Pat Sullivan and Denny Smith, so you can enjoy the signature pork dish, Loaded Potatoes, which contains roasted potatoes, pulled pork, shredded cheese, sour cream, and jalapenos. There will also be a variety of other foods as well, so stop by and see us.
Grab more info online at WIBC.com.
Marian University Preparatory School is a faith-based online private school currently enrolling grades 6 to 9. Financial aid is available. Visit k12.com/Marian, k12.com/MARIAN.
It's Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC. Thanks for being here. And it is Friday, which means it's a return of Freedom Tune Friday.
Yes, we have not done this in a while. Thought it'd be good to bring it back. Freedom Tunes is a phenomenal cartoon-based public education provider is what I like to call them. They do cartoons to satire politics and point out the absurd. And there's a new one out that deals with the Democrats trying to manipulate what the word recession means. I'll set this up real quick. You can picture a group of people sitting around a desk at a television station like a C-SPAN, and they're having a conversation with the host and the 2 guests debating the word recession. Take a listen.
In a bold move, the Biden administration has prevented a recession by changing the definition of the word recession. We have a few of Washington's top political strategists here to discuss the decision.
This was a brilliant move, and it's opened up many possibilities for Biden. In fact, it's being rumored that his administration now plans on balancing the budget by changing the definition of the word deficit.
That's absolutely right. Inflation, unemployment, shortages, these are all very serious problems that the American people are depending on the Biden administration to change the definitions of.
Exactly. Look, right now, Americans need real leadership. Someone who's going to take a stand and tell them everything's fine. Stop worrying about it. You sound crazy.
What about the Americans who say we can't trust a president to change the meanings of words he can't pronounce? Well, while they're updating definitions, the Biden administration has also been adding a very generous list of additional accepted pronunciations for most of these words. So they've eliminated his gaffing problem as well. Impressive.
That's right. And along with that, for the utterances he's made that we can't quite make out, the Biden administration is also issuing a list of new words. Chunder pressure, Badicaf care, as in the foothills of the Himalayas. These are no longer gaffes. They're real words said by our real president.
Incredible. After the break, Biden ruled competent after medical examiners changed the definition of dementia.
That's Freedom Tunes Friday on your Friday. Have a wonderful weekend. Thanks for being here. It's Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC. We'll see you back here Monday.
Now with Xfinity, you'll get unlimited internet with gig speed and supersonic Wi-Fi.